A pinch hit 3-run blast. Nice to meet you, Reese Robinette, freshman on this Razorback squad, and he gives Arkansas a 4-1 advantage with one away in the top of the 10th.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Welcome into a Hot Take Monday edition of The Morning Rush. Tommy is back today. Good to have him back after his vacation in Cozumel. We'll talk Arkansas basketball, still reacting, still marrying, still thinking about what happened this past Thursday, what happened over the course of this season, guys coming, guys leaving, what will happen in the next couple weeks with this Razorback basketball roster. The baseball team, as you heard, Reese Robinette at his first at-bat as an Arkansas Razorback, takes a 3-run shot to put Arkansas up in the top of the 10th. Kendall Diggs followed that up with the grand slam. He won Game 1, didn't fare so well in Games 2 and 3. We've got the Final Four set. It's quite odd. No blue bloods, no teams you expected to make it. I don't know how many brackets are even worthy of showing to this point because there ain't many. Tommy, based on what I've seen, Maya's just X after X after X.
We may argue over whether or not UConn's the blue blood, but I think the essence of what you said is correct. Here on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Top brands like Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. Always the best brands at the best prices and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with our friends at Wheels RV.
So is it good to be back?
Now, where did you say I went?
Cozumel, right?
No, went to close. You're in the vicinity, but no, I went to Cancun.
Okay.
Thank you for throwing the paparazzi off. I appreciate them not ruining my vacation by listening and wondering where I was at. So you had them all on a wild goose chase. Thank you.
And you came back with a beard because you can't sport it as a ref.
The goatee
or whatever.
Yeah, goatee and it's already got showing my age. Got too much gray in it right from the get go. But I refuse to do anything about it. But I'll either shave it or live with the gray. But no, good to be back. Just. Good to get away. My kids are at that age. I hate, and part of me, 50% of me hates vacationing spring break when the tournament's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But then I look at my kids, and they're 11 and 13, and how many more years I got with them to do things like this. So it was fun. We usually go at least every other year or somewhere this time of the year. So they had fun, and it wasn't as I really thought going. We stayed up in that hotel zone area that's supposed to be all wild and crazy, spring break. That really wasn't why I was going, but I thought it would be. Nothing going on. I mean, as far as partying and crazy and, what they call it, the Congo Bogo or whatever that just a normal vacation. So it's fun.
I know we went to Cabo when I was a senior. People go to Cancun, Cozumel, Cabo. It just varies on it. So maybe you just landed in a resort or a hotel that wasn't hosting college kids. Some go out of their way to deny those people staying.
Places. But, the town wasn't overrun with it. So that was good. So had several great meals, some of the best meals you'll ever have in your life I had this past week. So some really good you wouldn't think Italian food in Mexico, but probably 2 of the best Italian meals I've ever had in my life we had this past week.
I had a good Italian meal in Las Vegas this weekend,
yeah.
So I guess there's various places you can go and find good Italian eaters. So is it good to be back, or are you ready to go back? That's what you always ask after vacation.
I'll tell you in a couple hours. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes till about 8:30, and I'll let you know.
I was ready to be back in Arkansas as of Saturday, and I came back a little bit early. I'm going
to tell you, if it wasn't for kids, and if they had won Thursday, there was a plan in mind, if they had beaten UConn, how I was going to get from Cancun, Mexico, and divert my flight somehow.
Mm-hmm.
This was not going to go over well. I can promise you on the homestead. If I had sent my family back on home.
By themselves.
And I met you in Vegas. That wasn't going to land well. So, I don't want to say I appreciate them not advancing because I really wish they had. I really wish we were talking about our trip this week to Houston. That's really what I wish I was in here discussing this morning. But there was already a devious plan in the back of my mind. How do I get from Cancun, Mexico to Las Vegas, Nevada? There's got to be a nonstop flight. I mean, I got my passport already here. I mean, I was figuring out and devising a plan in my head.
Well, judging from the amount of Arkansas fans that were there, which, by the way, between the Razorbacks, the Huskies, the Bruins, and the Gonzaga Bulldogs, Arkansas fans outnumbered every other team, and that's being one of the farthest, not as far as stores, but close or farther.
UCLA's a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, it's the Arkansas fans outnumber. I would guess that he would even been amplified if the Razorbacks had made it to the Elite Eight. Unfortunately, they ran into a buzzsaw in Connecticut, the team that right now is projected to be the national champion, and that would make it 2 or 3 years that you've lost in the NCAA tournament to an eventual national champion, Baylor being 2 years ago, and maybe it's UConn this year.
I mean, I'm not saying Cinderella slipper won't fit Florida Atlantic or someone, but the history shows that it's not going to happen, that maybe the best team, and you're talking about blue bloods, and so maybe we can argue that. I think UConn, they've won 4 titles.
Calhoun won 3, and then Kevin Ollie won
right.
1 in
so
13 or 14.
I mean, there's blue blood as you're getting this year, obviously, there. Miami, I mean, you think football. I mean, you just think about the distance. Stop and think about this on a map. Put a map up out there. You're listening to us this morning in your mind. You got, Palm Beach? Boca Raton. Boca Raton, Miami. Both South Florida, deep Florida schools. Storrs, Connecticut, and San Diego. Now put that on a map in your mind. Now put Houston, Texas there. This may be one of the best for the consumer. The best secondary ticket markets there's ever been for a Final Four.
Just to go.
If you're listening, we got a lot of online listeners in Dallas, or maybe you're in Little Rock this morning or wherever. And hey, a Final Four is on my bucket list. Just any Final Four. This is the one maybe to go to, because when Texas lost yesterday, Clay and I were texting back and forth throughout the game. He was so mad about refereeing that he had to vent with somebody. So I was this man yesterday. And
during the Texas-Miami game,
no,
or the San Diego
the
State
Creighton
game?
San Diego State game. Anyway, we'll get to that later on. But we were talking, Texas losing makes these tickets probably really cheap on the secondary market compared. And I was telling him, I hope Ticketmaster takes it in the shorts. I hope they lose millions this weekend. Because if you're like me, every time you want to go to a concert, whether it's Zac Brown Band, Garth Brooks, Taylor Swift, you name it, any show out there you want to go to, you get on 5 minutes after they went on sale, tickets are sold out. Guess who owns them all? Ticketmaster somehow. And then they run it up our proverbial you-know-whats to get it. So I hope they bought up all these Final Four tickets. I'm not sure how that works, but it sure seems shady and dirty. And I hope this weekend they lose millions.
There's over 70,000 capacity normally for a Texans game in NRG Stadium. I don't know what that looks like from a basketball standpoint based on the setup. I know the vantage point and the view in a football stadium is nowhere near what it is during a basketball arena. So
you ever been in there?
Yeah, for the Texas Bowl.
I didn't know if you were there for that or not.
2014. But
man, we were up in the press box, I swear, is 5 miles from the field. I mean, it's as bad as the Superdome, and as far as vantage points. So I've sat in essentially the worst seat, because if you were in the press box, that was like touching the roof, same as New Orleans. But, I mean, they got the big screens on each end. I mean, if you're going, unless you have a high-dollar seat down low, you're not going to watch the game. You're there to be there for the experience.
We had courtside seats in Des Moines, Iowa, and I was on the 5th level in Vegas. A little different on the
Which was the better seat?
Courtside.
Des Moines sometimes you're so close you can't see. Depending on courtside on the end isn't always really great. So
I was right behind Chuck and Z, so I got the entertainment in addition to the actual game itself.
Hey, brought to you by Westark Plumbing and Expert Drain Services. If you need help with water, sewer, gas, or grease, Westark's been doing it since 1993. From clogged drains to water heaters, they can help you. Call 646-5151, and the team at Westark are on their way. When things aren't flowing your way, 646-5151. That's Westark Plumbing and Expert Drain Cleaning. They've been in the business since 1993. Community supporters, they put their money right back into the local community. Westark Plumbing and Expert Drain Services, 479-646-5151.
Got baseball to discuss, more basketball coming up on the Morning Rush.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Is your heating system leaving you out in the cold? Funny smell? Grinding noises? Or just plain not keeping you comfortable? If it's time for a new heating and air system, you deserve the best. Get a complete Paschal system replacement starting at only $99 a month. Don't settle for good when you can have the best. Schedule today at gopaschal.com. Professional people, professional service, Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Family first. My dad used to tell us that all the time. But family first wasn't just something he'd say to us. It was how he lived every day of his life. And it's how I try to live mine too.
At Shelter Insurance, our agents are dedicated to helping provide personalized auto, home, and life protection that puts your family first.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forest Grin wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forest Grin has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forest Grin is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forest Grin is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forest Grin legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForestGrin.com. That's GoForestGrin.com. Forest Grin Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Champion Cycling, located at 5500 Mazard Road, is the only locally owned bike shop in Fort Smith and wants to help you find the joy in cycling that has been part of their family for years. Their goal is to find the right bike for you, whether it's a road bike, mountain bike, or just a bike for leisure. Champion Cycling has a great selection of bikes, including brands from Specialized, Pivot, and Look. Whether it's fixing a flat tire or a basic tune-up, their dependable service department is ready to help. Stop by Champion Cycling and they will help you find your joy in cycling.
The Inventory Liquidation Event, Thursday through Monday at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Harry Robinson has combined all of their used cars onto one lot for 5 days only. Over 500 vehicles deeply discounted. Multiple lenders and appraisers are on site. If you've been turned down elsewhere, Harry will get you financed. Cars as low as $49.95. No payments for 90 days. And nobody will pay you more for your trade. The Inventory Liquidation Event, Thursday through Monday. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Do you want to be a part of the team that makes the best pizza and wings in town? Well, I've got great news. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is now accepting applications for full and part-time cooks. Fill out your application in person Monday through Saturday between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. You'll get to make the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Order the double cheese and sausage. Right here, dude.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Chuck is a living legend in this state. And anytime I get to talk to Chuck, it's a privilege and an honor to speak to you. And as long as you, Ty, you know you're a little wet behind the ears.
1-2. This is unloaded. Absolutely hammered. Deep to right field and gone. You are not bringing that one back. Kendall Diggs. See ya.
Watch the Morning Rush on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Just search Hit That Line.
Jared, the Grand Slam call from Kendall Diggs in game number 1 on Friday. David and Alma text in saying it wasn't a good weekend for Arkansas sports. Now, game 1 was great, what you did in extras. Now, after that, didn't necessarily go according to plan. The softball team won this weekend. They beat a top 10 Florida team, which is great. And Arkansas women's basketball lost in the WNIT Elite 8 in Lawrence, Kansas to the Jayhawks. Then, of course, the basketball team lost on Thursday. We'll react more to this coming up here on a Hot Take Monday.
Was it a good weekend for your bracket?
It's horrible. There's
when
X's everywhere.
When is the last time either of you guys have even looked at your bracket?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, let me be honest. I hadn't even paid a lot of attention. I don't even know who I'm rooting for at this point anymore. But here's what I can tell you guys with full confidence is we get a third mulligan here. We get to start over with the Final Four bracket. Surely we can get at least one of 3 games right? We can pick. We start over. We got a brand new Final Four bracket. And say, why are you doing this? Because we got prizes to give away. There's something for every round. We've already crowned winners, I guess, in rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. We've still got best overall bracket. We got best Sweet 16 bracket that will finalize once the Final Four is through. So there's a lot more prizes to give away. All of our bracket contests in a March Fever 2023 Final Four brackets, all presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, 810 Billiards and Bowling in Fort Smith, Wills RV in Springdale, and Shelter Insurance Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith. We need you to go back to hitthatline.com one more time this week. Fill out your Final Four bracket. You'll be entered for all of those additional prizes. Everybody starts from scratch on this third and final bracket, so get there today. It's also brought to you by Crane Used Auto Center in Fort Smith, The Grease Pig, Lube and Tune in Fayetteville, High Tech Truck and Refrigeration in Van Buren, and Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. It all closes up Saturday when the games begin for the Final Four in Houston. So head over right now to the 2023 Bracket Challenge at hitthatline.com.
Did Zach Arns text you yet? He is wanting his crown, his back-to-back title, something of that nature.
I really hate to know that he's going to be that disappointed, you know.
Yeah.
I think we ought to do this. I was thinking about this on the way in because I knew this would come up about him and, you know, his modest, humble approach to victory. How this should be celebrated. And, you know, the Masters is coming up week after next, right?
Correct.
I think we should do this just like the Masters does, don't you?
We do it just like, okay, you're going to have to follow. I'm going to have to follow you.
What's the Masters tradition on the champion? They host a dinner. Now, they get to select it, but they select the menu and they get to pay for it. So I think we do it just like the Masters, right?
Fine by me.
We'll go over to Goodwill. We'll find him a green jacket or something, and then we can crown him champion, have his little parade, and he can have a dinner that he pays for.
I don't even know what.
And we'll let him select the menu as long as it's not Indian food at a truck stop. I'm in.
What does Arns like to eat?
I don't know.
You know more than I do. I just know he was very, very
low fat, low carb would be my first.
Oh, that's going to be a lame NCAA
he's a pretty
bracket.
in shape 50-year-old. So.
Keyword on 50 or a lot of gray in those temples up top.
Hey, but clearly we've undervalued his basketball knowledge. This is 2 years in a row. This is not a fluke. This is not a fluke, folks.
The one gal in my
So just let me know when dinner is, Zach, and I'll be there.
I got frustrated because we've had back-to-back years where a girlfriend in our group has won our bracket challenge. Back-to-back years.
The second thing I wouldn't have said on the radio if I was you.
That was
first would have been the hot tub comment a few weeks ago, and the second was that.
Again, open and honest. That's what people think when they think Ty Richardson.
That's not always a good policy.
Last year it was Morgan. This year was Perry, and she has been just dogging.
You're making you and all your buddies look bad when you say things like this.
Again, she hasn't watched a second of college basketball this year, but was high on Miami because she likes Miami, and Miami won her.
You ever been to Miami?
I have not.
I have never been south of wherever they. I mean, I've been to Orlando a gazillion times, but wherever they launched the space shuttles and all that back in the day, and the missiles, or not the missiles, but the rockets. Now, I've been over there. That's about as far south in Florida as I've been.
Okay, I have not.
I want to get down there someday though to Cape Canaveral.
I think they have out of XNA, a Breeze flight or an Allegiant flight. One of those two fly direct, if I remember that
correctly.
They fly
into it's Daytona, Sanford. It's not actually.
Okay.
It's not actually. Or I've done that. Trust me. Allegiant. I think if the oxygen mask fell out because the cabin lost pressure, you'd have to swipe your credit card to get the oxygen to flow.
I haven't had, I'm going to be honest, the only bad flight that I can remember having is American Airlines. I haven't had a bad flight in Allegiant or Breeze, knock on wood. I know Phil Elson is not the biggest fan of Breeze Airlines based on what he had to experience recently, but I have not had, the only bad experience I've had on an airline is American to this point. Now, I haven't flown as much as you.
I would say that's true for me. I mean, I've flown Southwest. Southwest is my my go-to generally.
That's what I flew this weekend. No problems, no issues. Was able to get on an earlier flight.
The worst issues I've ever had were American.
Have been on American out of DFW, like myself.
Well, actually, out of Fort Smith too. Everybody wondered, why don't you fly Fort Smith more? Well, you missed the one. They missed the one flight due to mechanical, and it just throws the whole thing into monkey wrenches.
Yeah, there's only 2 or 3. Let's talk to Danny, who's.
But believe me, when they have to keep you overnight, the quality of the accommodations they put you up in, top notch.
Cots.
Top notch.
Ugh. Danny in Russellville. Good morning. Welcome in.
Good morning, gentlemen. Watching the series against LSU this weekend, it kind of reminded me of UConn. We used our 2 best pitchers to get that first game, and then after that, their talent just overwhelmed us. Everybody they got's throwing 95 to 100, and their lineup 1 through 9, it's hard to negotiate.
Oh, their pitchers are like a pro staff, Danny. I mean, it's like a pro staff.
They are. Yeah. They're absolutely amazing. And we got a good team. We're good. 1 through 6, we're really good. 7, 8, 9, we're not getting much. They showed us what you got to do. That's the type of team you got to beat to win the national championship because they're loaded. And
well, you got them out of the way, Danny. You don't have to play them again till perhaps Hoover.
Yeah, we got a good team, but burning our 2 pitchers, best pitchers to get the first game, I wish. I really hate it to.
Yeah, but that might have been your only chance to win.
You hate the fact.
0-3 you'd have really hated 0-3, Danny. If you don't like 1 and 2, you'd have really hated 0-3.
But hey, we got a good team. I just maybe Tiger will come back and we'll get things rolling. But we got a good team. They've got a great team. And
hey, you're 4-2.
Anyway, guys,
Danny, you're 4-2 after 2 weekends. You're right on schedule.
Yeah, we're doing good. I mean, the LSU is just loaded. That's all you can say. And we're going to have a good season. There's no doubt about it. Just those injuries, I wish we hadn't happened. But it happens. But anyway, go Hogs and have a good day.
Appreciate it. By the way, you are tied with LSU. Of course, they have the tiebreaker beating you head-to-head, but you are tied 4-2 in the Western Division right now. South Carolina and Vandy both 6-0 in the Eastern side of things. That's kind of the early SEC standings for baseball. You got Omaha tomorrow. Last time, actually, in Omaha, Nebraska, that's where they practice prior to a couple College World Series games, Tommy.
And Alabama coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So hopefully the Crimson Tide are in the wrong place at the wrong time this weekend in Fayetteville. We're brought to you by The Fence Man, the company we trust when it comes to building your next fence, gate, or any kind of controlled access project you have. Maybe you need some key cards to let people in through controlled access points and gates. They can do that with The Fence Man, 782-3936. And I was looking at a picture or two this weekend on their Facebook feed. Someone had shared a feed of the great service they'd had, but also the quality gate they had built for them. I'm telling you, these guys do top-notch work with The Fence Man. 782-3936, The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
When we return, Chuck joins us coming up. Get his thoughts on everything that occurred this weekend live on The Morning Rush.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guts. Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Remember this top 10 hit from 1983? Boy George, I Think You've Got It. It's Church of the Poison Mind by Culture Club. The culture is continuing to poison the minds of our youth by clubbing them with everything but the truth. But when we heed God's word, He gives us the solution to all the gender confusion. The true poison is believing that evil is good and good is evil. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games right through the Final Four and the championship game. BetOnline is where your college basketball headquarters are this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business. On the Hit That Line.
4161.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about. A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Hey, good morning, Chuck. I got an idea for your show name, too. Since you're out in Vegas and it's so early, maybe we should say, give me the coffee, Chuck.
Well, I got to tell you, I've got to work it right now.
Back here on The Morning Rush, got a text in from Smack Daddy, Tommy, that apparently Cancun did you good because you're firing shots this morning. So you feel like that you're 100% after this week? You're rested.
It's amazing what sleep will do for a human being. It is. So, but my sleep schedule is all fouled up.
How late were you staying up consistently there? And I know the time change and stuff, but
there is no time change. You're in the same time zone.
I know, but trying to adjust and the different.
Oh, I'm a wild man on vacation. I think I cranked it out one night till nearly 10:15.
10:15.
Yeah.
Wow, that is late.
Thank goodness the Hogs played early on Thursday.
I was up till 3 on Friday.
And I'm an old man. I ain't staying out all night.
Yeah, well, I was up till 3 on Friday and 4 on Saturday. So evidently I didn't fall in the line. It took me a little bit to get to sleep last night. Hopefully get rested this week.
All right, Chuck, in just a second, it's a Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. All the best brands at the best prices, and our favorite parts, the lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell at Wheels RV. Again, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Chuck, how are you? Good to hear from you this morning.
Well, I'm doing well, guys. Hope you are too. How was vacation? You look rested, tanned, and ready.
I'm at least 2 of the 3. It's good to get away with the kids. I hate being gone this time of the year, but my kids are at that age where they're 11 and 13, and I'm that sentimental dad that I know I've only got like 2 or 3 more of these, and I'm already too uncool as it is. I'm really going to be the guy they don't want to go anywhere on spring break in about 2 more years.
You know, if
you really are uncool.
Yeah,
I mean, you really are.
No, I own it. That's fine.
Yeah, being a dad, as long as your kids think you're cool, and that's the only
they don't
opinions.
No, and they don't.
I don't know that that's ever going to happen.
No, they're teenagers. You think no teenager thinks their dad's cool?
You know what? If you want to keep going on these spring break trips during the middle of March Madness, I'll keep falling on the sword and sacrificing my quote-unquote spring break to go to these trips. That was the first time in Vegas. It was cool. Des Moines was one of the best weekends of my life, seeing what they did against Kansas. So
I don't know. You came back from Vegas with no tattoos and you're not married. I'm not sure how good a time you really had.
Yeah,
you didn't really go all the way.
You're exactly right. Derek and Zach asked me, was I going to come back with a tattoo, a ring, an STD? There was one other thing they had asked. And luckily, didn't come back with a single
Did you? Huh? We want to know.
Luckily, did not.
Anything itching?
Yeah, luckily, didn't come back with a single one to this point. But that was that's unique. That place is unbelievable. Again, walking in just around the strip was one of the coolest parts of the trip.
I've got to go out there in a couple of weeks on business for a national convention for our industry. And I'm going to tell you, and Chuck knows this. I don't know how many times you've been there, but you've been enough to know this, Chuck. You look at a building down there, hey, I'm just going to walk right down there.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Oh, that can't be that far. And the next thing you know, you've walked 2 hours and 16 miles, and you're still not there, Hey, I'll just walk down there to the Stratosphere. No big deal. I can see it from here. That strip will fool you.
I told myself since I didn't really work out this week, it's like I need to walk these places because otherwise I won't get any exercise in. But like yourself, it's these tall buildings that seem much closer than they actually are, and then in reality, they're not at all.
Chuck, what do you think about the Final Four? I don't think there's probably one bracket in the country that would have had these collection of 4 teams in it.
It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing what's happened in this NCAA tournament. First time since '79, none of the top 4 seeds have made it. And it's just incredible when you look at what's happened around college basketball. We kind of talked about this a few weeks ago that, man, if you're one of these chalk bracket guys, most years and in years past, you bet the chalk, most years you win. Or at least you got a team or 2 in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be that way. And we talked about how it wasn't going to be that way. But I have to admit, I didn't think it'd be like this. But, you go back, and we've talked about this too during the season, that it's the experienced teams that are winning.
It's the experienced teams that are winning. 16 seniors, 8 juniors, 13 sophomores, 2 redshirt freshmen, 1 true freshman. Those are the starters in the Elite Eight. The top 28 scorers in the Elite Eight were seniors, juniors, or sophomores. Not a freshman in the bunch. So what we are seeing is that the players who have played the most games, who are older, who are more developed mentally and physically, those are the teams that have a chance to get on a run. Doesn't mean that you're guaranteed, but that's what's given these teams a chance to get on the run. And, some guys are just postseason coaches. I think we've got a postseason coach. But I think Jim Larinaga is a real postseason coach. Coach down in Miami. People forget this is a guy that took George Mason to the Final Four when they were a number 11 seed. That old coot knows what he's doing, and I say that as an old coot.
He kind of looks like Boeheim's cousin or something, doesn't he?
Boeheim's older uncle.
Or so, yeah,
but,
maybe.
He is he's a New York guy. His kids love him. That's the thing that you notice. The kids love him. They'll just, they'll do anything for him. But he said something that I thought was really interesting. They had a lot of players back, and he talked about how, we've been to the Elite Eight, and all our players said, we got to get to the Final Four. There are a lot of teams out there, and you think about our team. The only 2 guys that were saying, hey, we got to get to the Final Four now. We got to take that next step. We're Devo and Kamani. So I think when you look at the teams that are still alive, it's the teams that have players that have been there before. The transfer portal. You had 19 transfers start in the Elite Eight. Out of 40 starters, if my math's right, 8 teams, 40 starters. 19 of them were transfers. Those are experienced players. Those are the teams that are still playing.
So that's the formula to get there. I mean, I think you just laid out, I know Arkansas had some visitors in over the weekend. If you're laying out reconstructing your roster for next year, you got to pay attention to data like this.
Absolutely. It's irrefutable. And if you just watch the games during the season, it's still hard to believe what's happened. But if you watch the games during the season, and we talked about how many times you put an 18-year-old up against a 23-year-old, I don't care how good that 18-year-old is. If that 23-year-old's a good player, most of the time he's going to have the advantage. Yeah. And we've seen that play out in the NCAA tournament.
So let me ask you guys this question. Does the NCAA tournament get it right and identify the best team in the country? Does the regular season do that? Or did the tournament committee just get the seeding all fouled up this year?
I think it's impossible. I don't think there's a harder job in America than seeding the NCAA basketball tournament. I don't know how you do it because there's so much parity out there. Kenny Smith said something. He said parity has become normality, and it's true. I mean, we got so much parity this year that like it was a novelty. Now it's just a given. And this tournament was as wide open as it's ever been going into it. I just don't know that all of us fully realized it. But we do now.
Yeah. Well, it's not hard and fast, but if you go back to the net rankings and if you'd watched them kind of like we had all year long and kind of saw the ups and the downs and the ebbs and the flows, there's parts of the tournament didn't look right. And then at the end, it looks a little different. But you looked at the last 3 SEC teams that were standing. They were the top 3 nearly all year long in the net rankings. But then you look here, the Final Four, there's not a Big Ten team left. There's not an SEC team left. There's conferences getting their first team ever into the Final Four. But the net ranking was probably as good a guide as anything about what was going to unfold to a point.
Well, maybe. The thing that I'll say is people play games. The people play the games, not the computers. And, what we're seeing right now, what we've seen play out is the human drama of sports. And that's what makes it great. And that's what makes the NCAA basketball tournament arguably the greatest 3 or 4 week event in the history of sports. And things like this happen, and it makes it great. It's hey, look at where Miami was yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, they're down 13 in the second half. It's over. And they come storming back. And look at Florida Atlantic. Ole Miss beat them. I mean, come on. They're in the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys see the end of the first game yesterday, San Diego State and Creighton?
Yes, yeah. I did.
All right. So,
all right, ref, man. Let's hear what happened here. All right, ref.
I think there's a million opinions, and I just asked the question, you got a foul or no foul on Twitter, and there's a million opinions. But I think when you look at the play, let's talk about that because everybody can talk about the timing at the end of the game. We can get to that later. That's just kind of bookkeeping in my opinion. But the play everyone's talking about is what happened with 1 second to go, and the foul on, was it?
Nembhard.
Nembhard was the shooter?
Nembhard fouled him.
Yeah, right.
And
Trammell or whatever the guy. Trammell that was driving to the hole. I can tell you this, and Clay and I were having a back-and-forth text exchange about this whole setup. You can't look at that play in real time, slow motion, or any angle and justify a no call there.
That's not the point. That's not the point. Jay Wright made the point after the game. There was contact on virtually every shot in that game down the stretch. If you look at that play in a microcosm, in a still shot, was it a foul? Yeah. But there were fouls on umpteen shots during the course of that game that they didn't call. Go back and watch that tape. Tell me there were not more egregious fouls on shooters that were not whistled.
You're correct.
I'm not disagreeing that it was a foul. But there were 1,000,001 fouls during that game that weren't called, and for him to blow that whistle right there, I think made him part of the game. Lee Castle's name became part of basketball lore yesterday, and that should not happen.
So what if you're on the other side of that and your shooter ends up on the floor?
But, Tommy, that happened the whole game. My point is,
I understand.
if you just focus on the end of the game, yeah.
But that's all anyone
focuses
on.
There were 40 minutes worth of calls, and there were plenty of shots that had more contact than that were not called. You cannot call that there. You cannot call it. If you've 59 seconds, you cannot call it right there.
I know even Anthony Black chimed in and said the same thing, that you can't call it in that situation. Again, this was one of these plays where I watched it over and over like you did. I watched the stills. I watched it again, and I have
you can't ever judge anything by a still photo. Don't ever do that.
You can't take the call by itself. You have to look at the game in totality.
And that's fair. But
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Chuck, but if you look at that play, it is a foul.
Oh, there's no doubt it was a foul. And I'm not being disagreeable with that at all. But I can take still shots from that entire ball game, probably 50 of them from that ball game, and you're going to see contact on a shot, and the whistle wasn't blown.
And San Diego State, if you've watched them play, they play a physical brand of basketball on both ends of the floor, and there were probably several occasions in the Alabama game and in that game against Creighton where they may have gotten away with that typical same type of play, but it wasn't called.
But the focus is always on end-of-game situations, and that's what everyone talks about. Now, what you're saying, I don't disagree with you, Chuck. That was a physical game. I think there were only 22 fouls called in the whole game. So to your point, there weren't a lot of whistles leading up to that. Now, not all contact is a foul, but, the flip side of it is, and your point is, hey, if you hadn't called it all game, don't call it. But if you called every bit of the contact you're talking about, then I got guys on the radio and guys on Twitter and everybody else complain. They called 55 fouls in this game. Well, which way do you want it? Nobody wants 55 fouls.
Let me ask you a question. Do they blow that whistle on a Tuesday night in Oxford, Mississippi when Auburn's playing Ole Miss? Absolutely not. And we all know it. Mm-hmm. They don't blow the whistle any other time. And that's why I say Lee Castle is now part of NCAA tournament lore, and that should never happen.
But I don't think that was his intent when he blew the whistle.
I'm not saying that it was. I'm saying that there's a little too much self-importance right there.
Well, then you are saying he did it on purpose.
No, I'm not saying he did it on purpose. I'm saying he got geared up to make a call.
Well, you got to remember there's three guys on the floor that don't want to eliminate themselves from the Final Four either.
Was that his call?
Yes,
that was his call.
Oh, it was right in front of him.
Okay,
it was
in the middle of the plane. But yeah.
And again, there's no question that he put his hand on his hip. There's no question, and it may very well, just the slightest shove can alter a shot. I'm not suggesting for a moment there was not contact there, but I'm saying the rest of the game there was more contact and it wasn't whistled, so you don't blow the whistle there.
Let me put this in our vantage point, our perspective for our listeners. If that is the end of the game and AB's driving to the rim and he gets touched like that, that's
flagrant. Give me an F1. And that's exactly where I was going to go.
But here's the point. That's not what happened. You can what if yourself to death. The world's full of whataboutisms right now. But that's not what happened.
Well, here would be the question I had. So at the end of the Kansas first half, you have Kevin McCullough rake Ricky Council's arm at the end of the half, and there's a no call.
That's the half. That's the half. It's different.
Well, there was a no call in that situation, and
it's halftime.
But I think his point is what you were saying earlier. It didn't call it all game. Don't call it there.
Yeah, and that would be my question to our listeners this morning. It's an opponent or it's someone else that it's not a foul at the end of the game. But if it's Arkansas, if it's AB, Nick, Ricky, whoever.
But that's not what happened, Tig. We can't focus on what didn't happen. That's not what happened. What happened is what happened in that game. What we saw yesterday it has nothing to do with the Razorback. It has to do with that moment.
I like asking the questions in moments like this because we're not emotionally attached the way we are when the Razorbacks play. Because I don't think there's a soul listening in the studio or out there in the universe that if you're a Razorback fan wouldn't think that's a foul if that had been, like you said, Anthony Black driving to the hole at the end of the game tied in the Final Four on the line. We all believe that's a foul in that moment.
Do you remember the Final Four?
They do too. I'm sure they do too.
Right.
Let's go the Final Four game a couple years back with Auburn and Virginia. Kyle Guy at the end of the game gets that corner three. Dowdy bumps him on the shot. I mean, was that – and that's an in-the-game situation where the shooter was up in the air. Is that a foul? Is that something that –
I don't even remember the
play. I don't remember the play.
Doesn't have anything to do with what happened yesterday.
But I think
it's an it does because it's an in-the-game situation at the tail end of the game. There's contact at the end.
You're talking about something that happened 2 or 3 years
I don't remember
ago.
the play, so I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know, but
I don't
it's an interesting.
We'll remember
deal.
this one though.
Yeah, and because it put one team in the Final Four, and it'll, Greg McDermott obviously,
He was pretty classy after the game. He could have been a lot worse.
He refused to comment on officiating, which, I don't know what the situation would have been. I'm sure there's a fine involved, but he took the high road and just stayed away from that topic after the game.
Should you have as a coach, gone in full blast on that for your players? Because his players kind of did something similar where they were
what are you going to
classy.
gain?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm
nothing.
That's why I'm asking.
You're going to get fined. That's all it's going to do.
No, and it doesn't change the outcome. And here's the one thing, and here's why I think he said what he said after the game. You can't take anything away from a team that just won a trip to the Final Four. That would be really, when you look at the good of the game, the good of the sport, just being a sportsman. You can't take away from their moment. And I thought that he handled himself. I know he was dying inside. And I know he wanted to say everything that was on his mind. And in the regular season, if it's a Tuesday night in Omaha, he probably goes off. But you can't do that there. It's a bad look for your program, and it's disrespectful to your opponent. And I'm sure that had at least a role in why he didn't say anything.
Well, if you're looking for a place to watch the Final Four this weekend or maybe catch some games throughout the week, maybe some baseball or whatever, get by Sassy's. They have 2 locations in Fayetteville with delicious barbecue, catfish, burgers, and more. Enjoy your favorite beverage while you're cheering on your favorite team and dine inside or outside. We're getting closer and closer to patio weather, and both locations, the one on College and on Steamboat, both have great patio action as well. So when it comes to burgers, catfish, barbecue, and more, nobody does it better than Sassy's. Eat, drink, and be sassy. So Chuck, what happened to Texas down the stretch? They had the lead like we were talking about, and you thought Miami was dead and that game was over, and you start making your plans to go to Houston if you're a Longhorn fan, and then it all fell apart.
Well, I have to admit, I was keeping up via phone to the end of that game. So I can't tell you exactly how it went down. I'm going to guess turnovers had a lot to do with it, and all of a sudden the momentum starts shifting, and it's hard to protect leads. I mean, it's hard to protect leads, and there are good teams out there. And Miami's a team that can shoot you right back in it. And, all of a sudden you look up and bang, Miami's going to the Final Four. You got 3 of the 4 teams that have never been to the Final Four before. And, it's, Florida Atlantic, Miami. I don't know how many teams had I don't know how many people had them there. San Diego State, I can remember out in Maui, they were really good defensively, really tough. And Creighton was the same way. Not surprised that was a relatively low-scoring game. But it's just amazing what's happened.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about just visualize those 4 places on a map and then put Houston out there. And, man, it couldn't be more spread out for the people that are
working
to put this thing on.
Ticket scalpers.
That's
ticket
exactly
scalpers
what
aren't happy this week.
I hope Ticketmaster takes it in the you-know-what.
Well,
the way they kill all of us trying to go to a concert or a game, I hope they get killed this week.
You mentioned San Diego State, and you were texting Claire earlier about officiating. He was texting me about the Alabama because, Chuck, I know we were trying to find a team that was going to be able to beat Alabama. It ended up being the Aztecs, and they did it defensively. 3 of 27 is what Alabama finished. Brandon Miller had the lowest shooting percentage of anyone in the NCAA tournament, minimum of 35 field goal attempts since 1985. Guys,
they've been telling you he wasn't the shooter. They've been telling you that.
That was the one true freshman out there. I mean, that's, I'm not taking anything away from Brandon Miller as a player, but, you take all this other stuff out of the equation. That's a true freshman that got to the NCAA tournament, and it's all different. It's different. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good you were on a Saturday afternoon in Tuscaloosa in the middle of February. I don't care if you scored 50 that day. It's a lot harder in the NCAA tournament. Teams guard you, and that's what they ran up against.
It was a great defensive matchup, and again, I was happy to see Alabama lose, even though it killed my bracket. It was the jinx, Thomas, like I was telling you before. It's like I'm picking Alabama, so they will lose prior to that because the champion is that.
Alabama made a deal with the devil, and this is what happens.
So the devil won?
I guess the devil
They made a deal with the devil.
No?
They made a deal with the devil, and they lost.
Hey, what did y'all think about Nick Saban's? I don't think it was a coy comment. I mean,
no, it wasn't. He was talking to parents. You can bet your last dollar that affects things on the football recruiting trail. And I think he made a point to go to their practice. He made a point to say that it wasn't about Nate Oates. He was talking directly to the parents of the people Alabama's recruiting in football, because this is a stain on everything down there in terms of recruiting. It may die, and it may have an ebb and a flow in terms of media coverage, but to the parents of recruits, this is a big deal. That's who he was talking to.
So Oates is getting a lot of criticism, not only for the way he handled that, but the way that his team once again kind of fell apart in the Sweet 16. He's yet to make an Elite Eight, and there's people that are speculating that he'll never make a Final Four. What do you think recruiting looks like for Oates heading into this offseason? I don't even know who they're bringing in.
I have no idea. I'm sure he'll raid the portal just like everybody else.
That formula Chuck laid out there with the out of the 40 starters, I'm sure that it will look something similar like that is what he would like his roster to look like next year.
So Arkansas's got 2 freshmen coming in, Layden Blocker and Bayfall, who are both 5-star young men. And then, of course, they'll have to figure out who's staying and who's going through the transfer portal wide of things. You had 11 guys come in this past year, 6 true freshmen, 5 transfer kids. Tommy, Chuck and I were kind of talking about this on Friday. How many new players do you anticipate based on this roster? Or is that something we just still have to wait and see?
I think wait and see, but 2 or 3 max, right? And to me, I was thinking as you were laying that out, does this make the coaches' jobs easier in some ways that, hey, we narrow the scope and we narrow the time spent on recruits coming in, and we know that we're only going to sign so many because the rest of our time is going to be spent when it comes time to get guys out of that portal. So now instead of trying to canvas the country, if you will, and I think basketball is a lot different than football, obviously, on numbers. But, Chuck, you can kind of allocate the time you're going to spend on new players knowing that, hey, we're going to end up constructing most of this roster out of the portal anyway.
A good bit of it will be, I'm sure. Some of these guys, a lot of these guys have decisions to make. I think we've got some indication on what some of them are going to do. But, yeah, I mean, and, hey, they're working it right now. They were working it last week, and they'll work it today.
Yeah. Well, you ought to be with us Friday, Chuck. We're going to Oakland. It's Derby week. The Arkansas Derby is this Saturday. $1.25 million in the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. We're going to be live Friday morning at the Oakland Racing Casino Resort. We're going to be near the paddock area, so if you can come by and say hi, we'd love to see you. You can still sign up for the Oakland Anywhere app. Get your $150 sign-up bonus. Use the promo code RUSH23. And come by and say hi this Friday. We'll get you ready for the Arkansas Derby, the Fantasy Stakes, the Oakland Mile. We'll tell you more. It's all coming up this weekend at Oakland. So get that Oakland Anywhere app. Use the promo code RUSH23, and we'll see you Friday at Oakland in Hot Springs.
Still a lot to react to this morning, including Arkansas baseball taking 1 of 3 in Baton Rouge this weekend. More of the Morning Rush coming up.
Hog fans, this is Matt.
And this is Robert.
And we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Matt, this is an awesome time of the year.
Dad, I agree. Winter's almost over, and it's beginning to feel like spring.
Plus, it's Razorback basketball and baseball time.
And the Stadium Shop has everything you need, whether it's a shirt for the game, decorations for the wall, or furniture for the man cave.
Or my favorite thing.
Let me guess, stuff for the grill?
Yep, a new line of grilling tools with baseball bat handles just hit the door. I'm talking spatulas, tongs, the entire works.
Yeah, Dad, we know you like the grill, but Mom's the real grill master.
Now, hold on just a minute.
Hang on, that's your dad's side showing
What?
again.
Where?
Oh, never mind.
Folks, come by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and check out all the new Razorback stuff for tournament time and baseball season.
Dad, you might want to tell them where we are first.
Oh, yeah. We're at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum Walker Stadium, or you can call us at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486. And Matt, tell them about that interfacegram, that stuff.
What he means to say is our website, which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com. Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard of Arkansas. It's March Madness, baby. One of the most fantastic times of the year. Yeah. No. Not about the basketball tournament. I'm talking about the March Madness going on at Leaf Guard of Arkansas this month. Half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard system. The only true one-piece covered gutter system on the market that is guaranteed to never, ever clog. They're on my wife's house as we speak. With all the rain that we've had over the last several weeks, my foundation has not been in any jeopardy, and my life is not in any jeopardy because I don't have to get up on a ladder and clean out all that muck and mud and shingle grit that would be up there if I didn't have Leaf Guard gutters. Contact Leaf Guard of Arkansas right now. Get a hold of a sales associate at leafguardofmore.com or 501-664-5400. It's the half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard system. 18 months no interest financing, senior and military discounts, minimum purchase and approved credit. It's March Madness at Leaf Guard of Arkansas, baby!
Fort Smith's largest used car sale ever this Thursday through Monday at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Over 500 vehicles are on the lot for this one-time event. Cars as low as $49.95. Bring your trade-in. Multiple appraisers are on site to bid on your car. Over 30 banks on hand to get you financed, even if you've been told no elsewhere, and no payments for 90 days. Plus, state tax paid when you buy this weekend. The inventory liquidation event, Thursday through Monday. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
What's new in 23 at the Golf Nut? Callaway Paradigm Woods and Irons in stock February 24th, and Cobra Aerojet Woods and Irons arriving February 9th. New Titleist Pro V1 will be in stock January 24th, and new golf bags and shoes arriving daily. Book a time on their hitting base with the TrackMan technology, or play a round of golf on one of their mini courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
It's our annual Battle of the Brand sale going on now at Breeden RV. In the heavyweight division, we have the Thor Chateau versus the Gulfstream VT Cruiser, both at $39,000 off MSRP. The lightweights are ready to roll with the Starcraft Autumn Ridge, coming in at $211 a month versus the Coachman Clipper at just $206 a month, both with taxes paid. We're knocking them out with state sales tax paid on all new 2022 models and free maintenance for life on everything new. Come in, pick a winner, and drive away the undisputed champion of the campground. When this Friday and Saturday, where Breeden RV on Elma Highway in Van Buren. See dealer for details.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. Over the years, we've helped thousands of customers drive better. It's simple really. Rath Road Ready used cars, live market value pricing, and award-winning Meineke Car Care Center service after the sale. It's what's made us Arkansas's favorite used car dealer. This month, you can start driving better too with up to $3,400 extra for your trade and savings up to $4,100 below retail. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center, now offering our exclusive Meineke Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance plans that can add life and value to your car while saving you up to 20%. By the way, visit us on Facebook or at rathauto.com to register for our monthly contest. You can win a set of tires plus a Meineke Mile prepaid maintenance plan, $1,000 value. It's free and it's fun, but absolutely ends March 31st. Start driving better today with Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, or online at rathauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny skies. Our high temperatures this afternoon, upper 50s north, upper 60s south. Cloudy skies tonight. The overnight low will drop down upper 30s north, mid 40s south. And then an increase in the sunshine for Tuesday. Our high upper 50s to lower 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Tie game in the 10th. Swings and unloads deep to center field. On his high horse, it's Cruz. Going back, looks up, and it's out of here! A pinch hit, 3-run blast. Nice to meet you, Reese Robinette, freshman on this Razorback squad, and he gives Arkansas a 4-1 advantage with one away in the top of the 10th.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
No, that must have been really cool for Reese Robinette in his first at-bat in Alex Box Stadium to send that 1 yard in the 10th inning. Arkansas at that point up 4-1 and then got it done later on thanks to Kendall Diggs, who had a grand slam later in that inning. We'll react more to Arkansas baseball, what they did in Baton Rouge this weekend. You get the first win, you drop the next two, Tommy.
Hot takes on a Monday are always brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. You get a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell, and we are at camping season. I mean, people are making plans. They're figuring out all the places you want to visit. You need to go in style with a brand new RV from Wheels, and they can fix you up. And again, a lifetime warranty gives you the peace of mind each and every time you hook up and leave your driveway and head to your favorite place. It's all at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hunter Holland was wheeling and dealing in game number 1.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Bottom of the 5th inning. 1-0 Arkansas on top. Hunter Holland, the lefty, comes to the plate, sends the 3-2 and gets him looking. Joe Bear goes down. 5th K of the ball game, and it's the first one where a Tiger is caught looking.
He was one of the biggest reasons you were able to get that win on Friday was the way he pitched in those 5 innings or so.
He pitched well. Smith pitched well. They sold out to win that game. And you could tell that. I mean, and it's the kind of game you have to. I mean, you're facing the best pitcher in college baseball. And they sold out to win that game. And you had to, and they did. And they did the best they could on Saturday. And, you know, LSU's really good offensively, and they got it going. And you had some guys down there that – and I've seen what happens in Alex Box Stadium over the years, and I know what it's like, particularly for young guys, young pitchers. Just like it is for a young pitcher when they come to Baum-Walker Stadium. I mean, it's a tough environment.
Yeah. What's the value in playing this early, winning 1 of 3? I mean, is this a great place in the schedule to have LSU as your second series? Is that a good setup, Chuck?
Well, maybe. I mean, first off, they're still tied for first place, so that's good. And you've gotten through the LSU series, and you're still tied for first. And, you know, sometimes you play them toward the end of the year, it's not that way. And I've always believed that, you know, over the years with LSU, and it's this way with a lot of warm weather climate schools, and I think it's this way with us, even though we're not quite as warm weather as they are, certainly aren't this morning. I think that, as the weather warms, the bats get hot. This is a warm weather game. It's a summer game. And, college baseball, you got to do it a little bit differently. But all in all, to play them, and I think that's a valid question. I don't know that we know the answer yet. But I know LSU's out of the way, and you're still tied for first.
Yeah, we had a call from Danny earlier that it questioned maybe the strategy of selling out to win the game on Friday. But, man, 0-3.
You got swept if you had.
Exactly. 0-3 would be really, a setback mentally. You could overcome it, obviously. But knowing you're 4-2 after 2 weekends, you're right on schedule of where you want to be. I mean, you're on, you're got a long ways to go, but you're on pace to win 20 in your remaining in your SEC schedule. But you got eight of these series left. You're right where you want to be after 2 weekends after playing the best team in the country.
Yeah, and if you were in a super regional, for example, I don't know that you don't handle your pitching maybe a little bit differently on Friday. Maybe you're managing the entire series if you're playing in a playoff situation. But in your second conference series, again, the last thing in the world you want to do is go down there and get swept. If you got a chance to win that first game, you go win that first game, and you deal with tomorrow. And that's what they did, and I think that was absolutely the right thing to do.
Dave's kind of moved Hagen Smith into that Brady Tygart role, waiting to see when he returns. When he does come back, the way Hunter Holland's pitching right now, do you keep him as your Friday night guy? How do you think Dave goes about it?
I don't think you plan on that. I think if you get him back and he's full strength, that's a bonus. I don't think you can. I don't think you can make plans with the idea that an injured player, any injured player, I don't think you can make plans with the idea that he's going to come back and be exactly what he was before he was hurt. There's a process that you go through getting better. Even if you start playing again, there's still a process where you go by or that you go through before you're 100%. So I don't think you plan on that. I think that's way down the road and real speculative.
A lot of people made big plans for April, what was that, 14th, 15th, 16th?
April 15th.
Everybody made big plans for a Tennessee weekend. Boys, Tennessee's 3-3 over in the East. And
yeah, but they're
19-6.
They're okay.
They
had a bad weekend at Missouri, turned around, swept, pulled off a sweep this week. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, they beat, I think it was A&M this weekend.
Hey, they're only a game back of Arkansas and LSU. You can be 3-3 right now, and I know in the East it's different. You got undefeated teams over there, but you think about Arkansas and LSU, two really good teams, and Tennessee just a game back of them. This thing will come out in the wash. Tennessee will be up there near the top.
I hope so, because I think that's a weekend we've all anticipated. You want it to live up to the hype. You want it to be as big as we've all built it up in our heads to be.
I think by the time we get there, we'll have, it'll be fine. It'll be a great series no matter what the records are.
The reason you want it to be is because you go to Oxford, you go to Starkville, and you go to Nashville. Those are some of the better teams in the league this year, and you're having to go to. You don't get them in Baum Walker this year. You got to go to their places.
And you get Alabama this weekend. Now, they're 2-4, but they're right behind you in the division. So, I mean, here's a chance for Arkansas and LSU perhaps to separate themselves in the West a little more. It's a huge weekend for Alabama coming to Fayetteville.
No doubt. And, we've seen crazy things happen already. I mean, it's early in the baseball season. It's early. Weather's an issue. Arms are an issue. Teams are not hitting their stride yet, at least not their full stride. So, you can have some strange things happen early in conference season. And Tennessee getting swept at Missouri was just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
And then Mizzou turns around and gets swept this past weekend. So, that's just kind of how it's going to play early, I think.
And then you look at the Western Division standings and you find Ole Miss and Mississippi State winless at the bottom. That's not going to last either.
No, but evidently there's some issues. Ole Miss got swept at home this weekend by Florida. And I know Florida's really good. I know they are. They're top 5, and I think they're legit. But there's something going on at Ole Miss. Guys, and, it's tough right now in college sports to keep kids from getting, what my generation would call fat and happy. And, having that hunger, those things are really, really important. And something's going on down there. But I got to believe they'll get it righted at some point because they got too many good players not to.
I would think that it's harder to repeat as a national champion now than it's been in any college sport, football, basketball, baseball, just based on the
happening.
other.
And so, I mean, it's not happening.
based on just what you were alluding to right there, which, again, is really difficult. You think about Kansas this year, baseball-wise, again, Ole Miss not starting out. But it is, as you said, early in the baseball season, Chuck. I mean, we're 2 SEC series in. You got a lot of baseball to play left.
Oh, yeah. This, baseball's a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can never apply basketball and football logic to baseball. You can't. Just like you can't apply football logic to basketball. Everything's different. And you play 30 games in conference play. And just like in the big leagues, you play a lot of games with the idea that it all comes out in the wash and the good, cream rises to the top. And that'll happen here.
Well, it's a big sports time, and a lot of fun stuff coming up. You need your TV set, and that's why World of Wireless is there for you. Dish can take care of everything, including a great price that they'll lock in for 3 years when you make the move to Dish right now. It was a lifesaver for me last week because when you're out of the country, you can't stream watch ESPN or the March Madness app. The Dish Anywhere app, which tags into my local Hopper system, let me watch all the games no matter where I was at, even out of the country. 877-305-DISH. Get the sling with a Hopper from World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guts.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacale, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Remember this top 10 hit from 1983? Boy George, I Think You've Got It. It's Church of the Poison Mind by Culture Club. The culture is continuing to poison the minds of our youth by clubbing them with everything but the truth. But when we heed God's word, He gives us the solution to all the gender confusion. The true poison is believing that evil is good and good is evil. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games right through the Final Four and the championship game. BetOnline is where your college basketball headquarters are this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. BPHotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. Looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
78. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
Charles Barkley has been on our TVs the past couple weekends. If you watch the NBA pre- and post-game show, he's on that as well. And he's one of the funniest guys in all of sports media. I think he's the best. He's open. He's honest. He also went on 60 Minutes last night and said this.
You've said sometimes you've even fallen asleep on the set.
Oh, I fall asleep, like just sitting there watching like, oh, man, this is just bad basketball.
And I know they've recorded him actually doing this. So my question is to you two gentlemen, and I'll go first. Have you actually ever fallen asleep on a broadcast? I have fallen asleep during the midst of being on the news desk of Saturday Down South, where I'm supposed to be looking for articles, looking for things to discuss. And I wake up, and it's 30 minutes. I had taken just a nap. I had dozed off. If you at any point on any radio broadcast of any sort found yourself dozed off for 30 seconds a minute, and you guys have a lot more experience than I do. I've been close. Just sitting here, but coffee's kind of changed that for me. But has that ever happened to you over the course of y'all's broadcasting careers?
Back in the early days, when there wasn't computer automation and you needed a quick 5 or 10 minute power nap, or you needed to run to the store for some new cigarettes, Inagata DeVita was the very best thing a radio.
Inagata DeVita?
Yeah, I don't know.
Inagata DeVita, 10 years after.
Yeah, I mean, live version. I mean, that
Guys,
buy you
no idea what we're talking about.
But Chuck knows exactly what I'm talking about. That was the go-to if you had to step away for a minute.
That or American Pie or the long version of Taxi.
Those were the longest songs in your library.
Songs. Okay.
So if you needed to.
But falling asleep, no, never falling asleep, never dozed off.
But you did take naps.
Are you asleep now, Ty?
No, I think I'm wide awake, man.
Yeah, okay.
Wide awake, but I just
get where Chuck's coming, though. I mean, what Barkley's talking about here is that, you're watching a game. Who hasn't dozed off watching a game in their recliner, right?
Oh, no question. And
Hey, you think Barkley's not the guy? I mean, he does 60 Minutes last night. Everybody's talking about it this morning. It's awesome.
Yeah,
he's definitely entertained. But they've caught him on set, and of course Kenny Smith and Kellogg, and then Shaq, and they'll make fun of him. He is just so open and honest about something. I mean, how many broadcasters would say, "Yeah, I've fallen asleep mid-broadcast before"?
Well, here's the thing, though, Ty. Here's the thing. These guys go all day.
Mm-hmm.
These studio guys. There's a difference between being a studio guy and doing a ball game. Whole different deal. And if you're there from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning until the last game's done, and you're not going to have to be on camera for 45 minutes, yeah, you might catch a wink. Absolutely, you have to. And but nobody falls asleep during it. I mean, if you're broadcasting a game, you don't fall asleep.
Now, Mike Francesa did once. He absolutely they caught him falling asleep during his show, which all these things are televised, streaming on TV or whatever. He was listening to a caller and just
fell asleep,
completely nodded off during the middle of the call,
and then denied it too. That's what's funny about that is Francesa was like, "No, I didn't fall asleep." He did his classic New York shtick and went really hard against the caller or the texter that said he fell asleep. But
don't be the caller out there that puts us to sleep this morning, guys.
Yeah, that was the example I was thinking of, is Francesa actually doing that.
But Chuck's entertaining. I mean, there's a reason they pay him the kind of money they pay him, because he moves the needle. I mean, he's somebody that, and there's very few people in sports media, Chuck, that people will tune in because of the announcer. people will stay longer. He's one of the handful of guys that clearly moved the needle.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not going to sit here and say I watch it every time, but I've watched it enough to know Inside the NBA is the best studio show in the history of sports television. It's not even close in my mind. The way they mesh the personalities, and a lot of it's Barkley. I mean, he's the guy. I will admit, when these guys started talking about, when they first started having Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley, the Inside the NBA guys, minus Shaq, basically, on college basketball, I'm not really sure how this is going to go. These guys watch the NBA every night. But Barkley's one of those guys that he's a basketball guy. When he speaks of college, NBA, whatever, and he says it in a way that resonates with the common person. He is a great communicator. Now, I know a lot of it's show. I understand all that. But he's really good at it.
If the NFL could ever figure out this dynamic for their sport, they would. I mean, that's what every TV executive's trying to figure out, right? The biggest sport.
Next Charles Barkley.
To get that kind of dynamic for some studio show that they could put together. And I mean, I think Fox is really good, and I like the personalities on there. And I know there's more. It's watered down more because every network has their own, and there's really only one for the NBA. But if the NFL ever could figure out something on equal footing with that for their sport,
Bradshaw is probably the closest thing the NFL has, and he's the great value, light, old brand of Charles Barkley. But the other guys are too rigid. They just want to talk analytics, pass pro, and all this stuff. Barkley will touch on anything and everything under the sun. That's what makes him so unique.
Well, again, he says it in a way that resonates with a common person that does not necessarily understand all the ins and outs of basketball. And he delivers the line better than anybody else.
All right, that's your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge is in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Professional people, professional service. Schedule your service appointment today at gopaschal.com.
Last hour, we were talking about the conclusion of the Creighton and San Diego State game, and that sparked a call from our friend Sterling, who's in Center Ridge. He's got some thoughts on the conclusion of that game. Sterling, good morning. Happy Monday.
Hey, same to you guys. I heard y'all earlier talking about the call, and no doubt it was a foul. And I'm always like I was told Tommy before, advantage, disadvantage guy. And late in the game, and I know you don't. I know a lot of guys say first minute's a foul, last minute's a foul. I'll go out there, at the end of the game. I go to game point, pickup game. Will this guy? When I'm watching the game, will this guy call this foul in the pickup game? And that play last night, I don't think in a pickup game, game point, because if it goes down, it don't count when you call a foul. And you can't call it late, so you got to call it when it happened. I think in a pickup game, I don't think that guy would have called that call. I think he thought that his shot was not effective enough for him not to make that shot. And the same way I feel in that Auburn game that Ty was talking about earlier. Now, both cases, definitely a foul by the letter of law. Definitely. And definitely a foul that I might call at a different point during the game. But especially if the game is tied. And in this case, this game was tied. I can't let them go to the line and win the game right there. Now, if it was 14 seconds left and the shot clock was going down and he did it, I may or may not call it with 14. But at the very end, I can't let them have it like that. And that's just me. Now, everybody's different. I'm not going to kill the guy over it. But I'll tell you who I will kill. And Chuck was talking about folklore of the sport. Don Deckinger. I'll never forget it as long as I live. I mean, I ain't gonna.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there, Sterling.
And I just forgot his name a few years ago, and it didn't have the same effect because it wasn't a World Series game, so that's why it's not ingrained in my head. But back in 81 or 82 in Texas Stadium, that pass interference call, and I can still hear Keith Jackson today. saying that was a terrible call and that pass interference call. We ended up being a tie with SMU. Now, we ended up losing to Texas later on, so I guess that's why over the years I haven't got that official that didn't make that made that call. But them
Horton
two calls
Nurstra.
right there.
Horton Nurstra is his name.
Chuck's
I remember.
clearly over
Right.
it.
Oh, yeah, I've gotten over it. Horton. That's his name.
You know, and I just thought that.
No grudges held here.
Nah,
But yeah, those are two calls that distinctly I remember. And one more thing before I let your guys go, I don't know if y'all guys saw this. It was the first game Saturday when Morgan hit the home run. And Lord knows I'm not an LSU fan and I'm not no Tiger defender. But the kid did flip the bat. But he flipped it in his own dugout direction. He did stump on the plate. You know, Arkansas just smashed them less than 24 hours before that. And for the umpire to give him a lecture at that time when nothing was about to pop off, Arkansas wasn't offended by it. It was just a kid playing baseball. I didn't like that, not one bit. If our guys would have did it, I would be highly upset. And I'm not highly upset because it is a difference when it's not my guy. But I don't like it. I still don't like the umpire inserting himself into a situation that was no harm, no foul, just a kid playing the good old game of baseball. And I'm not a big flat backstep guy. I mean, I'm okay with it, but you know, I'm not one of these guys that gotta have it. But in that case, I didn't see Morgan do anything wrong.
I agree with
guys,
you. I thought that Go ahead, Sterling. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm getting. I just want to hear it. I don't want to get cut off before I hear your comment. That's all.
All right. I agree with what you're saying. I thought he imposed his own personal standard right there, and I thought he went too far. I don't like a lot of the things the kids do now, but this is a generational thing, and you know, guys my age, man, we don't like it. We don't like it at all. But there's a generation that does. And that's the generation that, for better or worse, is going to carry the game. And this is what they like to do. I had a conversation just in passing. It really wasn't a conversation. Just the idea of the pitch clock came up. And the guy that was talking, it was just this past weekend. The guy that was talking was a lot younger than I am. And just in passing, he said, these old guys will get used to it. They'll get used to this stuff. Games change. They'll gripe about it. But everybody get used to it here in a year or two. Now, it was a passing comment, but, you know, as I walked on, I thought about that. And I thought about how, you know, there is a generation that loves this stuff. And our generation cannot impose our personal beliefs on that. This is the way the game is now. Are there aspects to it that I think go too far? Yes, there are. If that guy's on the other team and he does that, in my day, you put a ball in the ribs, it doesn't happen again. But that's not how it goes in this day and age. That's not how it happens. I thought that ump went way too far. I think Sterling makes a good point. I don't like it. But it's part of the landscape now.
It seemed, and refresh me or correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like when we went back to the postseason last year, beginning with regional, super regionals, and beyond, the NCAA really cracked down on some of that stuff in postseason. And I don't know if it was an Ole Miss rule or what it was, but it seemed like we went from seeing a lot of that in the regular season to the NCAA shut it down in the postseason on all these antics.
Didn't the Tennessee
guy?
Now,
you don't need the fur coats. That stuff's too much. The chains, all that stuff, that goes too far. And if you're going to do that stuff, it has to be in the dugout. You do that 1 foot out on the field, and I'm throwing guys out of the game. I'm not just warning them. I'm throwing them out of the game. But the bat flip and some of this stuff, you're going to have to give a little bit.
Yeah.
You're going to have to give a little bit.
You make a point, and I think it's correct, about we've taken coaches, and we call them managers in the pro game, but you know, we've taken Dave Van Horn racing out to second base to argue an out or safe call.
Oh,
we've taken it out of the game with replay.
Entertainment.
So where do we counterbalance the entertainment aspect? Some of this has got to be with player celebrations and, you know, in a sporting way, I guess, if you will. But we've got to also realize this is a show. This is entertainment. We pay lots of dollars to go see college baseball games in relative terms. So there needs to be entertainment beyond just hitting the 390-foot home run.
I think you very subtly make a good point there, and frankly, I've not given it a lot of thought, but I think it is a good point that, you know, there's no manager arguments anymore. There's no coach arguments anymore. We go over to replay. We go grab a Coke. We come back, see what they said. So we don't talk about the blown call at the end of the game. We talk about the antics of the other team because there's nothing left to talk about.
Right.
There's no bad calls. There's no head coaches putting on a show, getting thrown out of the game. There's nothing to talk about except the antics of the players. Now, I don't think that was the intention of instant replay, but I think it's one of the unintended consequences of that is that the show now, as you say, comes from the antics of the players. And it is entertainment. And baseball straddles that boring line every time they roll it out there. I'm sorry. I love the game. I love the people that play. I love baseball people. But, you know, we do straddle the line. And let's not act like we don't. We overmanage, we overcoach, we do all kinds of things. And
what's the number?
Let them play. Let them play.
Yeah.
Let the kids play their game. It's their game now. For better or worse, it's their game now. And we're going to have to put up with some of this stuff.
So I think about an individual in Rock Riggio who Arkansas fans love to hate in Stillwater last year. And then I think about a team overall in Ole Miss that has been known for their antics under Bianco, not just last season, but multiple overall. And you're bringing in the aspect of, well, we're not really doing the entertainment aspect of the replay anymore versus that. That's good in a certain sense to have guys to hate. The Tennessee, the Dave Van Horn, and Tony Vitello getting at each other and yelling at each other post-game is good for baseball.
Who's the most hated baseball coach in the SEC?
Tony Vitello.
Absolutely. Who puts on the best show?
Tony Vitello.
Exactly. That's the deal. And I guarantee you there's people out there that are rabid Razorback baseball fans, could not name you every head coach in the SEC. Couldn't even name them. But they hate Tony V. And that's part of it, guys. I mean, and you know, you can't lose sight of that. People can spend their money any way they want to. Any way they want to. They want to see a show. And again, you've taken. I mean, you know, when's the last time you saw Dave Van Horn really go nuts, get thrown out of a game? How many of you remember what happened at Louisiana Tech some years back? You know, it's that part of the game is gone. And I understand wanting to get everything right and all that. But, and I've said this before, if you had instant replay, there'd be no Billy Martin. There'd be no Legend of Earl Weaver. There'd be no Leo DeRocher. There'd be no Bobby Cox. There'd be no Whitey Herzog. I mean, you know, that's what we remember. I mean, Lou Piniella doesn't pick up third base and throw it halfway into the outfield. I mean, you don't have moments like that anymore. And the best shows from the managers are in the minor leagues now. That's where the best shows are. They get out there and argue. And so you're right. Entertainment is really, really important. I'll tell you what else is important this week. Your heater's got to work. And I know that even though it doesn't feel like it right now, summertime's on the way. And, you know, if it's not worked real well in the winter, and maybe it didn't work real well at the end of last summer, pretty good chance it's not going to work real well this spring too. Might be time for a whole new system. And that's what gets me to Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. They've been in business for over 50 years in Northwest Arkansas, servicing all sorts of home service needs, air, plumbing, and electric. Now, they're expanding all over Arkansas. In fact, if you can hear me right now, there's a pretty good chance that Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric will service you. Maybe time for a whole new system. They've got great savings right now. They've got rebates going on right now. And these are local folks. You know, these are professional people, professional service. Charlie Boyce is the owner. Great Razorback pitcher. They got a lot of former Razorbacks working out there. Sharp people. I mean, they really are. I was about to say kids. They're not kids anymore. They're, you know, Charlie's a third-generation HVAC operator. So these guys know what they're doing. They're Arkansas-owned. They're Arkansas-operated. Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric.
So the Final Four is set: San Diego State, Miami, Florida Atlantic, and UConn. There were a lot of great games over the weekend, but the best call from the weekend came from Florida Atlantic.
Recession. Forrest second. Good as well. Kansas State doesn't have any timeouts. The inbound from Sills. Here comes Noel up the near side, left front court. 3 seconds now, 2. Noel throws it Massoud. High right. It's stripped away by Davis. He's stolen. Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic is going to the Final Four. One of the most improbable stories in college basketball history has just played out in New York City. Houston, you have a problem. Florida Atlantic is coming to town looking for a trophy.
It's a great call.
Oh, that's good.
Who are you cheering for this weekend between those
do
four?
you guys know the backstory on that call? You guys know the backstory on that?
No idea. Enlighten us.
The Ethernet went down on press row about a minute before that call, and the Florida Atlantic play-by-play guy, they found an Ethernet line behind him that was active. They plugged it in. Another person, I don't know if he was part of their broadcast staff or not, held the Comrex unit, which is what we in the business are all familiar with. And you can picture this, Ty. You know, you have the first row where the broadcasters are, the second row where the writers are. Well, they found an Ethernet line behind him that worked, and they didn't have enough Ethernet line to string it to his broadcast spot. They got it about halfway, so someone held the Comrex in their hand while he had the headsets on making that call.
Wow.
But if they'd not been able to find that Ethernet line that worked, they would not have been able to make the call. They were off the air. And, you know, I can just tell you the way all this is set up, if you don't have an Ethernet line, you're not on the air. And so that all happened in an incredible manner behind the scenes, and then he delivered that moment. But it almost didn't happen.
Yeah. So what would Chuck Barrett's blood pressure had that been the Arkansas-Kansas game?
I'd have stroked out. I mean, they'd have come back, and I'd have been on the ground.
I can just imagine. And
my head would have exploded.
You're like, at this moment, you know, when the biggest moment in school history perhaps is going to happen, and the internet craps out on you.
Well, yeah, but to have the wherewithal, to find a way to get that done was pretty impressive.
That's where a broadcast engineer paid for himself, right there.
Should have brought an air card, Tom.
Should have had a coupler. If you'd had a Cat 5 coupler, that you could have fixed that in a hurry.
A backup plan, but that's pretty. Chuck, I did not know the backstory on that, but just kind of envisioning what that looked like is seeing one young man hold that up while the broadcaster's probably going nuts at the end of that call. It's pretty cool. So you got, and Tommy said it best earlier, UConn is not necessarily a blue blood, but they're semi-blue blood. They've won four national championships, but San Diego State, Miami, and Florida Atlantic definitely would not exactly resemble top-tier basketball programs. So
hang on. UConn, perhaps, if they win this year, will win their 5th title with their 3rd different coach, right?
It'd be Calhoun, Ollie, and
and
Hurley.
I mean, that's if that would put you in the blue blood category, I think, at least over the last 20 years.
I think UConn's already in the blue blood category. I think, or at least right there at the fringe. That's a basketball school, and you know we don't talk about them as much because they're not in our part of the country. But that's a really good basketball team. It's hard, it's hard to envision them losing, frankly, right now. But it was hard to envision Alabama and Houston losing too, and some of the others. Hard to envision Miami coming back and beating Texas. So. If I was putting money on it, if I was on the Bet Saracen app, I'd go UConn. But based on what we've seen so far, you should expect something else.
Yeah. Still the only school, I think, to double up on the men's and women's title in the same year, for whatever that's worth. I mean, that tells you the kind of basketball school and part of the country that is.
Is it a loser mentality to want them to win, to say, oh, well, we lost to the eventual national champion, like with Baylor?
I think there's something to that.
I don't think it's a loser's mentality. I don't think it really matters, but I don't think it's a loser's mentality.
So I think they're the team to beat. I mean, without question, they have been the most dominant and the most impressive to this point in the tournament. All right, your Hog update is coming up. We haven't even talked spring football yet, and that's getting back after it this week. Yeah, got to get back into the swing of things with spring break now over. Now that spring break is behind us. I know a lot of you are thinking, I was talking to a guy in the airport that's a school teacher that I ran into, and he can already smell the finish line. 9 weeks to go, and he's making summer plans and things that he wants to do. Put Gaston's on your radar for things you want to do at Gaston's White River Resort. I was, having some extra time and looking at Facebook and some stuff yesterday, and while I was watching the games, and I was noticing Sean White, who was the last guide I fished with up there, just hauling in big brown after big brown. And if you're looking for a great time and to land on the big fish, Gaston's can put you there. 870-431-5202 is their number. Get one of their expert guys to show you what it's all about on the White River. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guts.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HUNK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 42424. That's HUNK to 42424.
The largest used car sales event in Fort Smith history is this weekend at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. 5 days only, Thursday through Monday. Harry Robinson has combined the inventories from Sallisaw and Fort Smith with over 500 vehicles deeply discounted for this weekend. Vehicles start at $49.95, state tax paid, and no payments for 90 days. Plus, bring your trade because nobody pays more than Harry Robinson. The inventory liquidation event. Special extended hours Thursday through Monday. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Is there anything worse than a cold shower? How about water damage after a leaking water heater? If it's time for a new water heater, you deserve the best. Right now, take $150 off a new tank water heater, or upgrade to endless hot water with a tankless water heater and get $300 off. Don't settle for good when you can have the best. Schedule today at GoPascal.com. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. That's GoForsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
You know the Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment in Fort Smith is your go-to shop for everything pressure washers. But did you know that they also handle your industrial pump and supply needs too? It doesn't stop there. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment's industrial vacuum trucks can handle dry, liquid, and even sludge removal from several hundred feet away. Leave the cleanup to the professionals. Contact Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment at 782-3762. That's 782-3762. Sunbelt Chemical and Equipment, 3116 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
Sure, I'm busy, but I'm not going to trust my truck to just anybody for service, and surely not for repairs these days. Way too technical. That's why my truck goes to Jody's for everything. Stuff I thought I'd have to take back to where I bought it, they do it. And I really think they save me money with their oil change specials. But the bottom line, I trust Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we can do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. Tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Springtime is finally here, and Road Chevrolet in Van Buren has the savings you need. Enjoy a 6-quart full synthetic oil change for $59.95 with a tire rotation at no additional charge. And save money by getting a 4-wheel alignment for only $79.95. To save even more, if you've never met our service manager, Ronald Peters, come and shake his hand and save $20 off any other service. It's as easy as a handshake. Road Chevrolet Van Buren and Rhodes Tire Center. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Tommy just mentioned it before the break. Spring practice gets going again on Tuesday. I know the guys coming back from spring break excited to get back into it. What do you think that is like for
I don't know if they're as excited as you're making it out to
Well,
be,
I'm going to tell you, the ones that got to hit the scale when they come in the building and weigh in, they're not excited about what's going on this week.
I'll bet the beach at this time a week ago seems like a little bit better idea of a good week than maybe going back to practice tomorrow. But I get your point.
I think about the different times you came back from spring break, whether, Tommy, you just came back from yours or various times you may have done so as a young lad. What do you think it's like for them having to transition back? Because their coaches say don't drink, don't eat, don't do stuff you wouldn't do. And, they just ignored everything they said. Well, how difficult do you think that first practice back is? And how much do you think Pittman's going to be yelling at the boys on
how
Tuesday?
hard the coaches want to make it. How much conditioning is going into this practice? I guess that may depend on a few other things.
Oh, there will be some
I think
puking.
they'll let them know spring break's over.
Yeah.
I think they'll let them know that.
There'll be some puking. Arkansas baseball wins 1 of 3.
So it will be like last week. Okay, got you. All right, moving on.
They win 1 of 3 in Baton Rouge this weekend. Jared Wagner, Wagner story of the weekend as well.
Here's the 3-2 on Wagner. Josenberger taking off, hit high in the air, and struck well deep to right center field. Dylan Cruz going back, leaps up at the wall, and it's out of here. A 2-run jack.
He hits a couple this weekend. You heard Dylan Cruz's name, who has gotten onto base. Listen to this. He's gotten to base every game for LSU this season. He's had at least 22 of the 24 games he's gotten hit. He's hitting .571 in SEC play. .571.
Well, that won't last.
That's
but
an early
it's yeah. I mean, that's not going to last. But he's certainly. Baseball's such a game of streaks. And it doesn't matter if you're in non-conference or SEC play. You may go through a 2 or 3 week stretch where, man, it's a beach ball coming up there, and you hit everything. And then you may go through a 2 or 3 week stretch where it looks like it's a BB. And that's just kind of how it goes as a hitter. Those are great numbers now, though, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. And he's hitting over .530, I think, on the season. Do we have tickets for the game tomorrow? Omaha's coming to town. Okay, we'll do some ticket giveaway. How many do you want to give away?
Let's give a few pair away.
Okay, give 2 pair away coming up at the end of this segment. Arkansas women's basketball beats Texas Tech on Friday. They fall in the Elite 8 to Kansas in the WNIT in Lawrence, and the Arkansas softball team gets a top 10 win at Bogle Park this weekend. They slaughtered Florida. I think it was 14-1 yesterday in the final game, so good to see them get back on track as they get it done in Tuscaloosa and then come home to Bogle Park and get it done against the Florida Gators as well.
Yeah, I was hoping the women's team could get that win in Lawrence. And Chuck, you might help me on the date. I think it's 99 when Gary Blair's team went to the WNIT Final Four. It's one of the biggest crowds for a women's game ever at Bud Walton. So I was hoping they get to experience that atmosphere and maybe draw that kind of crowd, but wasn't to be. They had a big third quarter surge and put themselves in a position to win, but couldn't hold off the Jayhawks in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they made the most of the WNIT, I guess, without going to the Final Four and winning it. But they, won a couple of games, I guess, got to play at home. It's, the WNIT is really an interesting deal. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, nobody outside the schools that are playing even knows it happens. But it's also interesting that sometimes you do have people come to games that don't normally come to games. And I think that's happened here. And it sounds like it happened in Lawrence yesterday. And, they've got to get back to the NCAA tournament. And I'm not breaking any news right there. I mean, that's the goal. And it's great to have success in the WNIT. It's great when you play to, you go win the game. And I'm not taking anything away from them. But I think they know the task at hand. You got to get back to the big tournament.
That is going to do it for your Hog Update. It is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
So Saturday, we know the schedule for the Final Four. San Diego State and Florida Atlantic are the first game on CBS a little after 5, and then UConn against Miami is going to be the game. Starts about 7:49 again, both on CBS with Nance, Raftery, and Grant Hill as well. Guys, what's the more appealing game to you this
Well, let me
weekend?
ask you this. Who do you want to win and who do you think will win? I don't think that's necessarily the same answer.
I'd like UConn to win both, and I think they're going to win. So
I'd love for Florida Atlantic to win because I just think it's a great sports fairy tale, but I think UConn will win.
I think UConn will win. UConn plays Miami, I guess, in the night game. That'll be the best game. And going into the weekend, and I would say the same thing on Monday morning. Winner of that game is going to win it all. You could argue that, hey, that's the national championship game. And yet, Florida Atlantic and San Diego State have already seemingly pulled off the impossible. And I know it's going to be different when you get there, but there's only one team that's been there before. Only one program's been to the Final Four before, and that's UConn. That's why I think they're going to win it. But the way this thing's gone, I don't know that I'd bet the house.
Yeah. It would be like a Purdue Fairleigh Dickinson type matchup if you had FAU versus UConn, one really big team with a big front line versus a smaller team at FAU. So that would be interesting to see how that worked out. I don't know that would be the best matchup. We didn't think it would be in a 16-1, and somehow FDU pulled it off against the smallest team against the biggest team. Truly a David and Goliath situation there.
But here's the thing: that's a one-time deal.
Yeah.
Fairleigh Dickinson and Purdue's a one-off. Florida Atlantic and San Diego State, they're on a run. All these teams that are there now have won successive games. And it's about belief now. They got stuff going on between the ears right now that separated them from everybody else. So I think there's more of a body of work here to watch. And look, if
talking about physical mismatch.
I understand. But we're at the point in the season right now where I don't think physical mismatch always matters as much as it might, in January or February. Special things are happening right now. Magic's happening with these teams, and sometimes that's really hard to explain or apply logic to.
I will say that to Tommy's point, after seeing it up close and personal, UConn just poses such a threat on so many different areas of the floor. I mean, they've got a great outside shooting game. They've got two guys that can absolutely work people in the post, and that's why they have dominated. They've got the largest tournament differential in wins so far in quite a number of different years, and I just can't see. And again, Chuck, you're talking about special times of the year, but after what I've seen them do to a really good front line in Gonzaga, what they did to Arkansas, and what they did to some other teams, I just don't know how Miami, who is small, and then whether it's San Diego State or Florida Atlantic, I just don't know how they match up with UConn despite it being the NCAA
takes one
tournament.
hot shooter on one night to hit a bunch of threes, and they can sink your plans, Chuck.
I just said I think UConn's going to win it. I think UConn's clearly the best team there. But that doesn't mean they're going to win it. You got 3 or 4 days before you play again, and as we saw, sometimes things change.
Well, just like anything else, it's all anew this week with the Final Four, and we got a brand new Final Four bracket. You can go to hitthatline.com If you're like me, your Sweet 16 bracket didn't turn out any better than your overall bracket. Sign up this week. It's all presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, 810 Billiards in Bowling and Fort Smith, Wheels RV in Springdale, and Shelter Insurance Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith. Give us your selections for the Final Four in this final leg of March Madness. It's brought to you by Wood Power Sports with locations across Arkansas, Cop CDL Academy in Van Buren, and Swift's Jewelry in Fayetteville. Hour 3 coming up on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV. They're 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands at the best prices, and always, guys, a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, we'll go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The hottest swim jig on the Arkansas River right now is the Booyah Mobster. It was designed by the Muddy Water Mob, a bunch of river rats from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it's winning tournaments on Dardanelle and Kerr like clockwork. If you're fishing submerged vegetation, water willow, lily pads, you need a Booyah Mobster to reel them in. Available at lurenet.com and tackle stores throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma, the Booyah Mobster.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard of Arkansas. It's March Madness, baby. One of the most fantastic times of the year. Yeah. No. Not about the basketball tournament. I'm talking about the March Madness going on at Leaf Guard of Arkansas this month. Half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard system. The only true one-piece covered gutter system on the market that is guaranteed to never, ever clog. They're on my wife's house as we speak. With all the rain that we've had over the last several weeks, my foundation has not been in any jeopardy, and my life is not in any jeopardy because I don't have to get up on a ladder and clean out all that muck and mud and shingle grit that would be up there if I didn't have Leaf Guard gutters. Contact Leaf Guard of Arkansas right now. Get a hold of a sales associate at leafguardofmore.com or 501-664-5400. It's the half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard system. 18 months no interest financing, senior and military discounts, minimum purchase and approved credit. It's March Madness at Leaf Guard of Arkansas, baby!
Is your heating system leaving you out in the cold? Funny smell? Grinding noises? Or just plain not keeping you comfortable? If it's time for a new heating and air system, you deserve the best. Get a complete Paschal system replacement starting at only $99 a month. Don't settle for good when you can have the best. Schedule today at gopaschal.com. Professional people, professional service, Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Greenwood Collision has been a part of Greenwood since the opening in 2007. Now they invite you into their new state-of-the-art facility. They offer customers a lifetime warranty and work diligently with all insurance companies to better serve their customers. Greenwood Collision has a color matching system, guaranteed an exact color match each and every time. Stop the worrying. Call Chris or Joe today at 996-9922. Greenwood Collision, 2615 West Center in Greenwood.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. Over the years, we've helped thousands of customers drive better. It's simple, really. Rath Road Ready used cars, live market value pricing, and award-winning Meineke Car Care Center service after the sale. It's what's made us Arkansas's favorite used car dealer. This month, you can start driving better, too, with up to $3,400 extra for your trade and savings up to $4,100 below retail. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center, now offering our exclusive Meineke Mile service contracts and prepaid maintenance plans that can add life and value to your car while saving you up to 20%. By the way, visit us on Facebook or at rathauto.com to register for our monthly contest. You can win a set of tires plus a Meineke Mile prepaid maintenance plan, $1,000 value. It's free and it's fun, but absolutely ends March 31st. Start driving better today with Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, or online at rathauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny skies. Our high temperatures this afternoon, upper 50s north, upper 60s south. Cloudy skies tonight. The overnight low will drop down upper 30s north, mid 40s south. And then an increase in the sunshine for Tuesday. Our high upper 50s to lower 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, there's always a Metters Lumber near you.
You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Tie game in the 10th. Swings and unloads deep to center field. On his high horse, it's Cruz. Going back, looks up, and it's out of here! A pinch hit, 3-run blast. Nice to meet you, Reese Robinette, freshman on this Razorback squad, and he gives Arkansas a 4-1 advantage with one away in the top of the 10th.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
So for all the love the SEC got this college basketball season with 8 teams getting into the tournament, not a single one of those teams made the Elite Eight. And Alabama, being the priority of the SEC, fell well short of where many people thought they were going to end up. I want to talk about that and kind of what it took for some of these teams to make the Final Four as we get going here on Hour 3 of the Morning Rush.
It's a Hot Take Monday, and it's always brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72. Off of I-49 in Springdale. Top brands like Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, and Alliance. Always at the best prices and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. It's at Wheels RV, again 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
Chuck, you were telling a stat earlier in hour number 1 about experience, and it was, if I remember correctly, only one true freshman started in the Elite Eight game between all the teams of the 40 players that could be selected.
That's right. And, we've talked during the course of the season about how, experience matters. Mm-hmm. And that, 5 stars and a bunch of great freshmen and all that might not hold the value that it once did when you weren't playing every week against guys that had, sometimes 22 years old out of the transfer portal, guys that have been playing a long time. I just thought this stat was telling. These are the starters, just among the Elite Eight teams. 16 seniors, 8 juniors, 13 sophomores, 2 redshirt freshmen, 1 true freshman. 19 players If you've got 8 teams and 5 starters, that's 40. 19 of them were out of the transfer portal. Top 28 scorers of the teams that made the Elite Eight. Top 28 scorers were seniors, juniors, and sophomores. The game, because of the portal, because of the extra year from COVID, the game has changed. And you've got to raid that portal, man. You got to go get those guys who have experience. It doesn't really matter. Brandon Miller's a great player. He's home. We got great players. They're done. And I'm not knocking that. I'm not saying you don't need to have great freshmen. But I'm saying if you really look at it, it's the guys you get through the portal and the experienced players that take you across the finish line.
Give me those sophomore, junior, and senior numbers again.
16 seniors, 8 juniors, 13 sophomores.
Yeah. I mean, experience right there. And it makes me wonder, because
that's 37 out of 40 for those who are mathematically challenged.
That's a little heavier on, and I may be one of those. That's a little heavier on seniors than you might have thought, but it also tells you that players develop and get better as they move on because, the best players generally aren't around for junior or senior years that are the best freshmen and sophomores a lot of times.
Those are the portal guys.
Yeah, but
these are the portal guys.
Right, these are the guys that you're finding through the portal, which leads me to my next question. Do coaches, and I think they already have, I think the question's catching up to the action here, so to speak, but you can validate this for me perhaps, is the time they're investing chasing after the flashy high school, junior, and senior through AAU and EYBL and their high school and all this stuff and, spanning out and sending your staff out to find the best 25 or 40 prospects and narrowing it down to recruiting 3 or 4 or 5 of those guys. I think maybe these coaches are probably already reevaluating how we invest our staff time and resources into high school recruiting versus, hey, it's all going to happen in the portal. We're going to be looking at guys and balancing that time and effort that has to go into figuring out how you construct your roster. I don't think the value's in canvassing the country to find the best high school players anymore.
Well, Musk talked about this a little bit on his radio show one Monday night out at Sassy's. He says it hurts a lot less when you lose a guy in the portal that you've been after for 2 weeks as opposed to losing a high school kid that you've been recruiting for 2 years. And because you've invested a lot more into him, as you say. Look, there's got to be a balance. There's got to be a balance. And, you can make points on all sides of this argument. Jim Larinaga said something that really caught my attention after their win yesterday. He talked about how, the group of guys that had been to the Elite Eight before, that all they talked about when the tournament started was how they had to get to the Final Four. And then I thought about our team, and I think about other teams. Sometimes you've only got 1 or 2 guys who've been there before. Whereas, apparently in their situation, they had more than that. Now, you've got to blend in transfers. It's not to say that, you can't, and I think about Illinois up there, Brad Underwood saying, I'm going to do this through high school kids. Well, buddy, you're going to be fired in about 2 years if you take that attitude. I'm not saying there's not some validity to it, but if you say I'm just going to build my program through high schoolers, you're going to get fired. And that's just the truth. And there's got to be a balance. But you do lose some things, obviously. As fans, you think about Arkansas. Well, as fans, we gotta crack that ceiling, get to the Final Four. Well, among the coaches, you had the coaches, the fans, and 2 players who understood exactly what you were talking about there. So there's got to be a balance. I think all staffs will do that. But clearly, the data shows that the experienced players, particularly those you get through the portal, those are the guys that are still playing. A lot, and if you want to get to that Elite Eight and have a chance to play for the Final Four, most of those rosters are just littered with transfer portal guys, upperclassmen, 22-year-olds, and good players.
So to that point, I think the expectation is Nick Smith and Anthony Black are gone, and there's some other guys right now that are at least teetering in the minds of many Razorback fans. Jordan Walsh, Ricky Council, and then also Trevin Brazil coming off his injury. Tommy Howe, Muss has been open and honest about this before. He gives these guys feedback, what they can improve on, where they're projected, teams that might end up drafting him. But to Chuck's point, Jordan would be a sophomore, Trevin would be a junior, Ricky would be a senior. I know Trevin didn't have any NCAA experience because he was injured and that Missouri didn't make the tournament last year. But what is the value of maybe them coming, those 3 specifically coming back?
could be everything.
Well, I
right?
think only they know that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're qualified to say that, because we're just going to be talking as hopeful fans. And none of us, frankly, are in a position to analyze somebody's worth to a professional basketball team.
No, I'm talking about they came
they're gonna
back.
have people.
I'm talking about they're coming back, Chuck. If they ultimately decide.
No, I know what you're asking. I'm just saying I don't think we're qualified to say. To say that, well, Jordan Walsh could improve on this and improve on that. Well, who's to say he couldn't do it somewhere else? We just I don't know that we know the value of them coming back. I think there's value for us as fans. There's value for how good the team would be, but how much individual value there's going to be, that's for them to decide.
That's where I'm coming from. Not what they can improve on in Arkansas. I'm talking about as a team overall. If they came back to school, and you're talking about the experience again, 2 of those 3 players would have NCAA tournament experience.
Well, that'd be great.
That'd be great. That's the question. I'm not talking about what
no,
they've gained.
But we don't know the answer to that. I mean, that'd be great if they came back. Sure, it would help the team, but let's not be naive. Kids are going to make their decisions based on what's best for them, just like all of us do. So, yes, it would be a great dividend if they individually decided they needed to come back to college, and they all decided to come back to college here. There would be a great dividend for the team. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think that's what the decisions are going to be based on.
Yeah. I don't know how you could say they get worse by them coming back. I
No.
mean, to me, there's only one answer to the question. But when I look at this and you wonder, I think there, just like every season with most teams, there's ups and there's downs, and I wonder about mid-February to, late February, early March. Things were tough. You went on that swing of road games, you lost games. What was it, 4 of the last 5 or what? You lost 4 in a row, and it seemed like the world was falling apart. And I just wonder, at that point, it's easy for a lot of guys to look for greener pastures. But then I think about the last 2 weeks and all the good things that happened, and you're not at the Final Four, but what that did to maybe make you think about the grass on your side of the fence, and maybe some guys are balancing out what thoughts they had 30 days ago versus 3 days ago now, considering all that happened.
Well, one thing you got to think about, too, not all of them may be asked back. I mean, not just here, but other places, too. We talk a lot about, would there be value in these guys all coming back? Who's going to be back? Well, I mean, not everybody's going to be invited back. So, that's one of the realities, too. A coach is charged with constructing a roster, and college basketball has changed in the way you do that. And there's no guarantees out there for anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I think if anything's true from what we've known, over the last 4 years, the staff's going to look different and the roster's going to look drastically different. Those are just the constants that I think we can bank on. Now, who that is, what those names are, I don't know. But I just know, Chuck, that's the consistent storyline following each season. We got new guys on the roster and usually 1 or 2 new guys on the staff.
Well, and right now is such a busy time. And, these coaches, and Muss is one of them, were, they were all working the portal and doing things like that while they were preparing to play games. And that's just kind of the reality of this time of year. And, the portal's something that they're all working like madmen right now. I mean, there's a guy I forget his name, for North Carolina. It was a 4-star coming out of high school. He averaged a career high 4 points and 2.5 rebounds last year, and every school in the country's after.
Puff Johnson.
Yeah,
is the kid's name. Puff.
Yeah. So,
met him last year.
I'm not saying he's not a great player. I'm not saying he wouldn't go somewhere else and blossom. But, that's kind of where it is right now.
Yeah. But you think about a player like Desi Seals. Didn't work out for him at Arkansas, went to A-State, now Kansas State, and here he finds himself, a game short of the Final Four. But I mean, was that a good decision for Desi Seals? Well, if you think playing in the Elite Eight was, I mean, it worked out for him.
COVID really helped Desi. I mean, Desi's been in college forever. And, he didn't even look like the same guy. I mean, you really have to look hard at the television when he's playing to see Desi Seals when he played here. He's a grown-up now. And that COVID year really helped him. Without that, he wouldn't still be playing.
I think about heading into this season, how we consistently talked about 11 new players on the roster with 5 transfers and 6. I hope that we're not looking at this team, I guess, in September or whatever, and you basically have 2 returners, which you had Kamani and Devo this last season. Because I think for this team, we saw that in the fourth season here, theoretically their worst team outside the first year, which you can't say much about that, was this team with too many. You have to have some stability. I would expect Devontae to come back, but the hope is, and Chuck, you also said it there, is who's going to be asked to come back. There has to be some continuity within this basketball team next year, because when you look at it, there just seemed to be too much turnover, and it took too long for this team to figure it out in this season. I know they had injuries that derailed some things, it derailed some plans, but that to me was one of the key parts of this season, was there just was too many new faces on this team.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, the fact that, when you lose Brazil and Smith doesn't play, I mean, I don't know if you'd had a bunch of returnees, it would have mattered. I mean, when you lose that kind of your offense, I don't know necessarily that that's true. I do like the aspect, and as I said earlier, you can make arguments on all sides of the point here. I do like the aspect, like Larinaga was talking about, that you've got guys who actually, they went through it, and you got enough guys on your team that remember everything that happened last year, that it's a motivating factor this year. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it a different way. Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, and one of the things about this team, and I was talking with someone over the weekend about this, that, if this was the old college basketball where you didn't have one and dones and transfer portal and all that, and you took this basketball team and you're bringing everybody back next year except Kamani Johnson, you might be the number one ranked team in the country going into the preseason. You might be ranked number one. But in the modern era of college basketball, we're all smart enough to know it's all going to look a whole lot different next year.
Yeah, because Kamani's the only player on the roster that doesn't have an option.
That is out of eligibility.
He's done. Mm-hmm. And then, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the new transfer portal rules that go into place, you can't go to your third school now without sitting a year, right?
Well, you got grad transfer.
Unless you're
a grad transfer.
And they all have by now. Mm-hmm. They all have by now. So, we're just going to have to see how it plays out. I don't even pretend to know what's going on between the ears of these guys. And we can apply the team /fan, /hope for what some of these guys may do, but we're just going to have to see how this plays out. One thing that I believe we are going to continue to see, and we've already seen, is there's going to be some things that surprise you in terms of guys leaving, and there's going to be some things that surprise you in terms of guys coming in. That seems to be the course of things now in college sports.
I'll just guarantee you this: it's going to be different. Things are going to change. It's going to be different because that's.
Hey, did anybody expect Jalen Catalon to transfer to Texas? Did anybody expect that this time a year ago? Well, no. Unexpected things happen in this portal, good and bad.
Yeah. Boy, with the weather warming up, I'm looking forward to some fun weekends. Maybe next weekend watching the Final Four outside, and you want to enjoy your outdoor spaces. A lot more homes being built with outdoor spaces this day to gather family and friends together. Don't let pesky bugs and mosquitoes ruin all the excitement and all the fun in your backyard, whether it's a barbecue, watching games, or just playing outside. Get that sound and that buzzing noise and those itchy bites that come from the mosquitoes gone. Don't worry about it when you call Mosquito Joe. 479-202-9960 is their number. They'll make sure the biting and buzzing pests stay far away from your backyard and your loved ones. That way you can enjoy a stress-free, bug-free weekend full of quality time with the people you care about. Call now and receive your first service for just $39.99. That's $39.99 when you call Mosquito Joe now. 479-202-9960. That's 202-9960 for Mosquito Joe of Arkansas.
Let's go to Leonard, who's in Van Buren. Leonard, I was playing a little pickup in your neck of the woods last night. Good morning.
Yes, sir, man. How you guys doing this morning?
Good, man.
Doing great.
Good. All right. Hey, I just want to comment on the freshmen. Like I said, when I look at that group right there, the only one I say that's really ready to go, even if he could stay, is Debo. Anthony is close. Don't get me wrong, he's close, but Anthony needs to mature a little bit more. He still gets a little bit immature in a lot of his decisions and stuff and gets himself in trouble. But Nick Smith, more than any of them, he really do need to stay. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see him. I don't care what the people say. He will not go top 10. If Smith comes out this year, he will not make lottery. He will not do top 10. He'll be good to do in the top 15. I just don't know what you guys are looking at, but he's got stuff to prove right now. And as far as Walsh goes, it will really help him to stay. He could probably come on out, but he really needs to stay. It will really help his pick. I'm gonna hang up and let you guys go at Brazil. He's the man. All he's got to do is come back. He's NBA ready, but he needs to come back just so he can get himself conditioned and get back to form. I'll hang up and let you guys have it. And as always, go Cowboys.
That's my man. Oh, I don't disagree for a second that none of these guys are ready to, come in and, be impact players in the NBA. But I don't know that that's really the point. I agree with what you're saying from a basketball perspective. Every argument you make from a basketball perspective is valid. But the big but in this is the millions of dollars. And, when somebody offers you that kind of cash, and I know we can sit back when it's not us and say, yeah, but if he came back and he got better, he might even earn more. Who's to say he can't get better getting paid? I mean, who's to say he can't get better getting paid as a pro right now? You look at the guys that are taken early in the NBA draft, generally they're taken by lousy teams. That's why they're in the lottery. They're not any good. And so the idea that, you're going to come in and win a championship or things like that, unless you're Moses and you get drafted down a little bit more and Golden State ends up being the team that takes you, you're not going to come in and be asked to win a championship. You're going to be asked to develop. I don't think anybody, last year, Jalen Williams, man, he's ready to go be a star in the NBA. But yet he's playing all the time because of the organization that he's with. And Isaiah Joe could barely get off the bench for a good team like Philly, goes to Oklahoma City, and they're, in a youth movement right now, and he gets to play all the time. So there are lots of things that you have to factor into this. From a purely basketball perspective, the caller is 100% correct. But in the modern world of basketball, you don't necessarily have to develop as a player in college. You can do it while you're getting paid as a pro. And that's what a lot of these guys do. So there's a lot of things to balance. It's going to be an interesting few weeks. And I just kind of think that's where we are. Hey, let me pause just for a second and talk to those of you who are buying or selling a home. Biggest investment you're going to make. You need to be smart about it. And that's why you need to partner with my friends at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. That's what I did, and the experience was better than I thought it might be. I mean, I remember my first home, and I remember that day. I remember the process. I remember everything that happened on that day we finally got from contract to close. And I remember selling another home through Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. And that final day came, and how good that feels. Well, they help you get there, and that's what a real estate pro does. This is not about doing something on the side to pay for vacation. This is about doing it every single day, knowing the market, knowing the signs. It makes them a better negotiator for you, and it makes, when you get to that close, it makes the day much better for you as well, I can promise you. Now, Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company's got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith. They've got an office in Branson, Missouri, and you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
I think to Leonard's point from the basketball standpoint, how NBA executives, GMs, scouts, and everyone else, they draft on ceilings. They don't necessarily draft on performance as true freshmen, and Nick's going to go top 10, and I hope AB does too. And I know this isn't the popular fan take, but both those guys need to go. If they're projected, they get the same feedback from different NBA executives that they seemingly are on the mock drafts. Both those guys need to go. There's no reason for them to come back if they are projected to go in the lottery. There's just not. Chuck said the millions.
No, you're right. You're right.
And I hate saying that because I would love to see AB and Nick in a Razorback uniform again. But if they are projected, if the actual people tell them you're going lottery, there's no reason for them to come back. More of the Morning Rush coming up right here on a Hot Take Monday.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Remember this top 10 hit from 1983? Boy George, I Think You've Got It. It's Church of the Poison Mind by Culture Club. The culture is continuing to poison the minds of our youth by clubbing them with everything but the truth. But when we heed God's word, He gives us the solution to all the gender confusion. The true poison is believing that evil is good and good is evil. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games right through the Final Four and the championship game. BetOnline is where your college basketball headquarters are this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Hey, good morning, Chuck. I got an idea for your show name, too. Since you're out in Vegas and it's so early, maybe we should say, give me the coffee, Chuck.
Well, I got to tell you, I've got it working right now.
So we had an example we were talking about during the break that we wanted to bring up and with our last conversation, again, experience in college basketball and then kind of how that projects in the NBA draft. We'll do that in just a sec.
Hey, whether you're cold water bass fishing on Beaver or Table Rock right now, or you're headed to the mighty White River for a big trophy brown or rainbow, take along the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. It will help you find them in a heavy current. You can work it, or in extremely slow water. It can work as it will suspend and stay in that strike zone longer, helping you catch more fish. Find the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Chuck, you brought up Buddy Hield, who became one of the better college basketball players I had the privilege of watching. As a freshman, he really didn't do much at Oklahoma, but he became the Naismith Player of the Year, averaged 25 points as a senior, and exploded for Lon Kruger and company. And some guys are ready immediately as true freshmen to have an impact, but he was much better off staying in college all 4 years and moving on to the NBA than other guys who can do just one and done and go straight on.
And yet, he was not drafted before those guys. The point is they were all drafted before him. My point in bringing this up in our off-the-air conversation was that Buddy Hield was clearly the most NBA-ready player then.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no financial dividend whatsoever for him staying 4 years at Oklahoma. He was drafted, and he was the most NBA-ready player. But to your point a little bit earlier, they draft on ceiling. They draft on what they see 5 years from now. Now, sometimes they're right on point with their vision, and sometimes they're way off. But that's what they invest their money on, and that's the way they do business. We may not agree with it, but that's the way they do business. And so that's the reality of the situation. One could argue that if Buddy Hield had not come back, he would have never been drafted in the first place, and that may be true. That may very well be true. The only reason I mentioned his name was as an example of you can be ready to contribute today in the NBA, but that does not guarantee you a better contract than someone that hasn't done anything. I mean, that's just the reality. That's how they do business.
Yeah. What's the truth in the NIL numbers, or do we know yet? Is it enough to even compete with the thought of going to the NBA? I mean, that's the other thing I wonder about, but I don't think we really know the truth about what NIL really means financially to the players in college basketball right now.
I do think we're getting an idea because I think that there's a difference between guaranteed money and money that, you might get if you make a roster. Second-round money in the NBA, for example, is not guaranteed. If you're a fifth- or sixth-round draft pick in the NFL, I mean, the odds are against you. I know there are exceptions to the rule, but there are, overall, the odds are just against you in those situations. So all those things have got to be balanced. And if you're a college kid and you've got a good NIL deal, that's guaranteed. That's guaranteed money. Unless you screw up and, have something happen off the floor, that NIL money you're going to get. If you make an NBA roster as a second rounder, you're going to get paid. But if you don't, you're out in the cold. And if you're a fifth or sixth round NFL draft pick, if you don't make it, you're out in the cold. But if you come back, you got a nice NIL deal. You got that money coming next year. Now, for the guys that are going to be taken early, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You go take the money. You just do. As hopeful fans, we'd love for them to come back. We can find a million reasons why they should come back. But they got sometimes 2 or 3 million reasons not to.
Mm-hmm.
And but I do think we're beginning to get an idea with some of these players who are maybes in the pros as opposed to that year of guaranteed money as an NIL recipient. But it all varies from case to case. I don't know that there's going to be a general rule that we're going to be able to cite. I do think we'll see trends, though.
I just think some of this money that's lauded and talked about, on social media or, other spaces that's going on with NIL, just it's not all on the up and up.
Well, some of it's inflated.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. I can be I can go back to college and I can pocket, say $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, $10,000 a month with no living expenses, everything taken care of, pure profit. Or I can go roll the dice. I might make a pro roster, and if I do, man, life's going to be good. Life's going to be good. But if I don't, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it's not just always about what am I going to do. It's what am I going to do for my family. My mom's been working 2 jobs since I was 8 years old. What am I going to do for her? I got a brother. I got they all have situations with their families that we don't know anything about. And so all that stuff factors into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Top brands at best prices and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. Plus, they have a mobile service shuttle that will come to you to help keep you camping. Find out why Wheels was once again voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. That's Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
So does NIL have the most impact in football, basketball, or baseball with guys potentially coming back? To me, it's baseball because you don't get a full scholarship to begin with, and for some, that's enough to just go straight on to the pros out of high school.
There's a lot more risk in the minor league system.
Yes, yeah, and that would be another factor of that. Not to say it doesn't have an impact in basketball and football as well, but I think baseball.
There's guys probably, Chuck, making more money on their NIL deals than they will in their first pro contract.
Probably so, and I hope they're saving some of that money. But I don't look. I don't know how much they're making. Do you? I mean, I don't know.
No, because I think what Tommy's point is valid. Some of the numbers seem inflated, but it's not like you're telling people your salary, or Chuck's telling his, or telling mine. No one's
getting rich in Class A ball.
No, but I mean, there's no point of doing that when it comes to these NIL deals. The schools like to do it because then they can bring in more kids that way. More of the Morning Rush coming up. SEC update is next.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guts.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas, in-office or telemedicine visits available. So to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical professionals for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
Play the Multiplier family of scratch-off tickets and win big with the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery. Multiply your winnings 10 times, 20 times, up to 200 times. Ticket prices range from $1 to $20, and top prizes from $5,000 up to $500,000. Arkansas scratch-off players win more than $1 million every day. You could be next. Look for the X to play, scratch, and win. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
It's Mower Madness all month at WT Equipment. WT has the best deals on a huge in-stock selection of the best mowers. No Cinderella here, only brands you know and trust. Hustler, Toro, Big Dog, Bobcat, and Walker Mid-America. For 50 years, WT has built a legacy of trust with the hardest working customers in the country by offering quality products you can count on from people you can count on. Visit WTpromos.com to find your local WT Equipment location right now.
This is Sue from the paint store, and you know those big box retailers can't compete with the experience and expert-friendly advice we give you here at the paint store in Van Buren. I've tested myself, then chosen just the right blend of Richards paints to give you the best performance. Richards Paints is a company with the same philosophy as us: top-notch coverage, extreme washability. The bonus for you is the friendly expert advice you get free with every gallon. Call 474-4505 or stop by and see us at 1414 Fayetteville Road. We'll see you soon.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like beer.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
I may not know much about my SUV and what makes it go, but I do believe in history. And if you can be local and in business since 1984 and have the reputation for good, honest service Jody's has, that's all I need, with pickup and delivery and free shuttle service and coupons to save me money. Jody's. My SUV goes to Jody's for everything.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we can do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. Tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
What's new in 23 at the Golf Nut? Callaway Paradigm Woods and Irons in stock February 24th, and Cobra Aerojet Woods and Irons arriving February 9th. New Titleist Pro V1 will be in stock January 24th, and new golf bags and shoes arriving daily. Book a time on their hitting base with the TrackMan technology, or play a round of golf on one of their mini courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Hey, Wes.
Hey, it's for horses. Are my ears that long? Don't answer that.
What's the deal with our cheese?
The cheese is from Wisconsin.
Okay, so what? Ain't cheese just cheese?
Billy, I'm from Wisconsin.
Not to be rude, Wes, but who cares?
Wisconsin cows make for better cheese.
Aren't cows just cows? Don't they have cows out in California?
Wisconsin cows are better because of the ice.
Ain't there 4 ice in California?
Ice, not eyes.
The ice is the difference? Do cows skate or something? Do they play hockey too?
Oh, blessed Billy.
How does they put them their skates on them?
Jim's Razorback Pizza uses cheese from ice hockey playing cows from Wisconsin. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
Arkansas Razorback baseball team finds themselves tied with LSU. Of course, LSU got the tiebreaker, winning 2 of 3 this weekend against your Hogs. 4-2 at the top of the West. You got South Carolina and Vanderbilt undefeated in SEC play right now. It's kind of odd. As Ole Miss and Mississippi State combined 0-12 in the SEC thus far. The defending national champion and the champion from 2 years ago at least have not started out strong in conference play, Tommy.
Hold on to these standings. Let's talk in 2 weeks and see what they look like then.
Arkansas, I think, was projected 3rd in the SEC West preseason predictions. Again, right now tied for 1st. And you've got Bama this weekend, Omaha tomorrow, and you've got Bama this weekend as well. And so that's kind of your setup for baseball this week, coming back home to Baum-Walker Stadium after that 18 home game stand or whatever. So that's nice. The LSU game, again, Arkansas won the first game in the 10th, and then for LSU, it was Dylan Cruz that kind of got things going for the Tigers, who, again, has been magnificent this season. He has been unbelievable thus far.
He kicks and delivers. Hit high in the air, deep towards center field. This is absolutely smoked. It's out of here. Dylan Cruz homers in a 3rd consecutive game against Arkansas.
He's going to be the guy to watch in SEC play this season. You've had some guys, Jared Wagner and Jace Borfin, who have been really good hitting the baseball. We saw a really good outing from Hunter Holland, and then Hagen Smith got the help get that victory on Friday. But after that, not a lot of positives to take away for this baseball team in games 2 or 3.
You're 4-2 after 6 games. You don't play LSU again till maybe Hoover or maybe beyond that. I mean, we'll just see. I mean, you're right where you should be after 6 games in SEC play. There's nothing. I mean, you'd have loved to have gone down there and won 2 of 3, but winning 1 was really important. They did that. I'm a very positive man about where they're at right now.
In games 2 and 3.
I understand, but I mean,
not the
season. It's 56 game season. We're not going to focus on just 2 games when it's all said and done. So I thought they were just fine this weekend. Yeah, they lost by a wide margin in those second 2 games of the series, but they're right on track. They're right on course. And hey, I'm not calling these a failure, but all successes are built on the foundations of failures. They'll learn from what happened this weekend and know what to correct and where to build from that. And I don't have any problem with them selling out on Friday in that day game to win at least one. So,
against the number 1 team in the country at their home ballpark.
I mean, I know you don't want to get run ruled and then lose by nearly a run rule, but in the end, you're right where you want to be at 4-2 when 2 weekends are complete.
Did you watch any other SEC baseball this weekend?
I was traveling. I was out of the country, and all the apps wouldn't work. The games weren't on the SEC network, so I couldn't watch it through my Sling. So, I mean, I was – and Saturday was an 18-hour travel day, so I didn't get to see much.
Do you have any airport difficulty, any airline difficulty at all, or was it pretty smooth outside of the kiddos being a little sick?
Nothing that we all got a little something. I don't think it's Mexico. I just think it was what's been going around. But anytime you're going through – customs and immigration and all those things you got to do to go into another country and then come back to your own, it's always challenging and stinks. But we get to the airport in Cancun and get off the plane, go through immigration, 15 minutes. No big deal at all. They've eliminated a little paper card you got to fill out. Now you just show them your passport and you move on. It's easy. We get to get your baggage so that you can then go through customs. An hour and 40 minutes waiting on our bags.
Yikes.
Standing at a carousel, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, it's like, I don't know what was going on with that. But I'll tell you this. Houston Hobby coming back, and I've been through there about 3 times on international flights. Nobody does it better than Houston Hobby on inbound international flights. You get off the plane, you're through immigration faster than you get your passport out, and then your bags are there in 10 minutes, and you are gone. And it's been that way every single time I've been through there.
That's good.
They run a good show there in Houston.
Ship.
They run a good show there in Houston.
Well, there you go. That's your SEC update this morning.
It is brought to you by WT Equipment. They have 8 locations to take care of customers across Arkansas and North Louisiana. They're in Searcy. They're in Springdale. They're in Northwest Arkansas. They're all over the place. Find a location near you if you're looking for New Holland agricultural or construction equipment. They got sales, service, and parts of both new and pre-owned inventory as well. So when you're ready to invest in new equipment, there's only one place to go. That's WT Equipment. Find a location online at WTEquip.com.
Let's talk to Ryan, who's in Hot Springs, where we're going to be at this weekend at Oaklawn. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Y'all were talking about the baseball game. I kind of felt like once they kind of got hot, I was like, I understand they had to do a doubleheader because of the weather, but I felt like that was probably the worst thing that hurt Arkansas. So once those batters got hot, I was kind of worried about that going to the second game, and it just continued just the same way it was in the first game. But I do have a testimonial for y'all as well.
Lay it on.
Well, y'all were talking about the Smithwick, and Tommy, you're going to love this, man. We caught the ever-loving crap out of some walleye over the weekend trolling with them in that heavy current below Blakely.
Well, that's good because there is nothing walleye or crappie. I don't care which one. Both are great. Probably I'd take that walleye. That's about as good a eating as you're going to get.
And they were all males too, so the females have not pulled up yet. And they're all in that same little weight class, anywhere from about 1.5 pounds all the way up to almost 3. So it's going to be some good eating.
Yeah. Well, call me for supper.
So, you want to know the color phase I caught them on?
Sure, tell it.
Clown.
There you go. So giving away all of his secrets. Ryan, thanks for the call this morning. So.
Have a good day.
All right.
Go.
That's Ryan.
Giving away all his secrets there.
I was going to say he's disclosing a lot of
where
things.
to go and what to use. Ryan's quite a guy.
Let's talk to Brent, who's in Stuttgart. Brent, what's up on a Monday, man?
Oh, not much. How about you made it back from Vegas, Ty?
I did. Had a lot of fun. That was
Doesn't have a single tattoo, no piercings, no STDs, nothing. I'm a little disappointed, Brent.
That's the best news ever. He made it back safe.
He's not smoking.
No kid either.
He's not married. I'm not sure if he even went.
That's good. Just wanted to touch base on this Razorback basketball season. What an end to the season for the Razorback basketball team. People were upset that we probably lost to the team that's going to win the national championship. To be perfectly honest, they're playing at an extremely high level right now. And I just wanted to say this. Remember, Razorback fans, only 67 teams are going to lose in this tournament. And we gave it a good run, and just wanted to hear y'all's opinion about where the what the roster will look like here in the next coming days, if I can.
Yeah, sure, Brent. So I'm of the belief that Nick Smith Jr. and Anthony Black in the coming days or weeks will announce that they are moving on to the NBA draft based on where they're projected. I think the better question is who else is staying on this roster. Jordan Walsh has a decision. Ricky Council has a decision. Trevor Brazile has a decision. And then the guys currently on the roster, are they staying or do they feel like the greener pastures are elsewhere? Some of the in-state kids, some of the guys that contributed this season. I mean, I'm of the belief that you need some continuity outside of just Devontae Davis. Now, you want him back next season, especially the way he plays in March. But I think it would be better off for this team and this program next year if you had a few more guys that were on this team this year that were on the roster next year. And again, we don't know what that roster is going to look like, but you've got to have some shooting, man. That's been the Achilles heel of this team the last couple years, especially the last 2 years where they just couldn't throw in the ocean from three. You've got to add some guys that you know that can defend and shoot the rock as well, because otherwise it's just going to be another difficult time. There's going to be difficult times where you just can't score the basketball, and that hindered this team time and time again this year.
Got to have more than one, too. I mean, and here's a secret that's not a secret. Everybody's looking for guys that can shoot and defend. Yeah. I mean, tell me who doesn't want to add another guy or two that can shoot and defend. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, that was clearly the Achilles heel. I thought they did an admirable job for the most part. I know UConn wore them out on the glass, but down the stretch, this team won games by wiping the glass and keeping teams off of the offensive boards. That's where it came unraveled against UConn. They killed them with second chance points, and that was where the game got away from the Razorbacks, and they got down 30 or whatever.
Yeah, you got out-rebounded by 12.
You've got to, but just really in the meat and taters of the game, got worked on the offensive glass. Way too many second chance points. I mean, that was what kept Arkansas in the game and helped them beat Kansas. That's what helped them win games down the stretch after overcoming that tough road stretch and kind of put the season back on track. So all in all, you're probably a game short of disappointment. I mean, if everyone had been healthy and Nick Smith and Trevor Brazile had played the whole year, Final Four expectations might be valid. But that's not what happened. That's not reality. So the reality is you probably did better than you should have, all considered. Mm-hmm. And you probably met preseason expectations within a game or two. I mean, within a game. If you got it back to the Elite Eight, hard to gripe about that.
Sweet, or elite, sweet. That's how Corey Beck kind of described these past 3 seasons with this Arkansas basketball program. And just to put this in perspective, Eric Musselman in the last 3 years has more wins in the NCAA tournament for Arkansas than you had from 96 to 2019. 8 wins the last 3 years in the NCAA tournament. He has an 8-3 overall record compared to just 7 wins from 96 to 2019.
Tell me coaching doesn't matter.
Chuck said it earlier, Muss is a tournament coach. They figure it out against Kansas, potentially their best game of the season outside of maybe the road win against Kentucky. When they needed it most, they got coaching in the second half, and that was well on display in that performance in Des Moines, Iowa.
Today's game, it's all about finding the right talent, using that portal to your advantage, and I think that's his best strength. That's what makes him a good tournament coach, is he knows how to put the roster together for tournament time. Hey, it's Mermaid Madness for another week or two at Burton Pools and Spas. In fact, we'll announce the winner next week here on the Morning Rush. So get by Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith. Guess how many mermaids are in the hot tub, and you could win a new Fantasy Enamour Premier Hot Tub pad that's valued at over $6,000. This is a 4-person plug-and-play hot tub with a waterfall, exterior and interior lights. It's even got a built-in ice bucket to keep your drinks cold. It includes everything you need from cover steps and startup chemicals. Go to hitthatline.com/Mermaid Madness and put in your guess, or stop by Burton Pools and Spas and see how many are in there for yourself and make your best guess. When you register online, there's a $500 coupon that you can use right now towards a new hot tub or an above-ground pool. We'll announce the winner next week on the Morning Rush. It's all from Burton Pools and Spas, Springdale and in Fort Smith, your source for backyard fun.
As we close today's show, it is the 40th anniversary of the movie The Outsiders.
Tony Boy Curtis. That's an original name.
When is the last time you've watched The Outsiders, Tommy? A lot of good actors and actresses in that movie.
I don't know that I've ever watched
You've
The
never
Outsiders.
seen it?
Yeah.
You might need to go do that at some point. That's going to close today's Hot Take Monday for Tommy Kraft, Chuck Barrett, and Christian Johnston. Have a great Monday, everyone.
Fenceman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fenceman can give you